In for Damon today, Kevin Michael, Whitey Gleason. Hopefully Damon's doing well. Hopefully he's back soon. In the meantime, Ray, great to be with you, Ray, it says here. So I do.
You've been lied to already?
Make sure you tell Ray. Great to be with you, Ray. You know, we got so much going on, don't we? Right now, we've got the Warriors at the crossroads, Ray, as you know. We've got the 49ers coming out of the bye and get ready to make, hopefully, another run deep into the playoffs, make a real run at a Super Bowl title.
Why do you say hopefully? Why do you care?
Because I think it would be more fun for us here on the radio and for everybody listening if the 49ers did that. Sports has a way of galvanizing an area, and dare I say, in these troubled times, sports has a way of bringing communities and people together. And in my humble opinion, that's a positive thing.
Don't you think they'd be as much fun if they were 0-8 right now?
Nope.
Oh, then you're wrong.
I just remember a couple years ago, the pandemic year, the Nick Mullins in year. It was not a lot of fun, Ray.
No, but they occasionally won, which is why it wasn't fun. What if they were running the table the wrong way? What if they were worse than the Colts?
That would not be fun.
What if they hired Keith Fonhorst to be their new head coach?
I'm sure Fonny would do a great job. You have a problem with the Colts hiring Jeff Saturday? By the way, before you answer, I'll have you know that today he told the media he cares, Ray. So before you question the wisdom of hiring Jeff Saturday, just so you know, he cares.
I'm sure he does care. I mean, they're paying him handsomely to care. But this is daft. It's daft on its face. It's daft every week. I mean, basically, they took away their entire football operations department except for the general manager, Chris Ballard. And they said, hey, I used to see you squat down in front of Peyton Manning. You must be qualified.
Jeff Saturday, by the way, he's the guy that killed the Pro Bowl. And it was already,
Oh, well, that's why he's going to the Hall of Fame. Don't get me wrong. I think Jeff Saturday is a hero of socialist labor.
He killed the Pro Bowl when he decided to deliver a snap to Peyton Manning when they were on different teams. Oh, that's all right. Remember, we were teammates. So anyway, which was more daft before we get back to the Bay Area? You use the word daft. The Colts hiring Jeff Saturday or the Nets trying to hire until the league said, no, we don't want you to do that, Ime Udoka.
Oh, no, Saturday.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Way more daft.
On some level, the Saturday thing kind of makes some football sense.
No, it don't.
But the Udoka thing was like, okay, we got all this going on with Kyrie Irving, these horrible things he said. Our house is on fire. What are we going to do? Let's hire Udoka. Let's set the garage on fire, too. I mean, that's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in sports.
Oh, no, it's not even
that was really dumb and tone deaf and stupid.
No, it was tone deaf, but there was a certain internal logic to it. And for a bunch of navel gazers like the Nets operation, it made sense because he used to be an assistant coach there. And he had an alleged rapport with some of their guys.
Well, Saturday used to be a player for the Colts.
But he's never coached.
That works all the time. Steve Kerr, right? And Mark Jackson hadn't coached before. Now, maybe we haven't seen a lot of it in football, but making a broadcaster into a coach, hey, basketball's proven that can work.
Are you going to tell me about Jerry Coleman next?
I was thinking of that. I wasn't going to go there, but yeah. It's a good call by you. 79 Padres, I think, yeah.
Yep. They went 73 and 89 by pulling a guy out of the booth who was already in his early 90s.
But he had played. I mean, he was a player at one time.
Well, but that didn't go well.
Yeah.
The only time anything like this has gone well, and you won't believe me, but in 1954, the Fort Wayne Pistons hired Charlie Ekman to be their new coach. And his background in basketball, he was an NBA referee.
Really?
Yep. And in his first 2 years, he took them to the finals each year.
Didn't they lose to the Warriors one of those years? The Philadelphia Warriors?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think 55.
Yeah. All right.
But the truth is, this is nuts, and it will be revealed to be even more nuts as time goes on.
You know what else is nuts, Ray, is the Warriors 2 timeline plan. It's nuts. It was a bold experiment. I understand why they tried it. It was a desperate attempt to stave off the inevitable decline that great teams face in all sports. When their great players are no longer so great, here comes that gravity. We know the Spurs, to a degree, were able to hold it off for a long time, and the Warriors had this plan. Look, we've got our veteran core. They're still productive, especially Steph, of course. So we've got, look at this. We had the gap year. We ended up with the 2nd pick, and we got the 7th pick in the trade for Wiggins and D'Angelo Russell. Let's make the most of this, and let's find our foundational pieces for the future, and then we won't have that drop-off. But right now, it's apparent that the 2 guys the Warriors drafted, hoping they would be foundational pieces, if they're going to be really good players, it's not going to be soon enough to help this core when the core ages. So it's time to abandon the plan.
No, it isn't. But you do raise an interesting point. That this
of course I do. That's why I'm here.
Well,
although Charlie Ekman in 1954, I can't top that.
Yeah, well, blind pig finds acorn.
Yeah.
No, it's what they're trying to do is create a seamless future. But the mistake they made was not in making the 2 timeline plan. It was in drafting a 19-year-old who had played 69 minutes of college basketball, and then another 19-year-old who had played no college basketball. There is a level of knowledge that you need to have to be able to play for Steve Kerr. Not because Steve Kerr is a genius, but because he trusts guys who have done this before. He had way more trust a year ago in somebody like Gary Payton II, who had no pedigree other than the fact that his dad was Gary Payton I. But because he could defend, Kerr found time for him. And the same thing with Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney is a more valued piece to the Warriors now than he was when he was young, because even though his hips are shot and even though he can no longer get up off the ground, he still does all the things Steve Kerr wants him to do when he wants them to do them and the way Steve Kerr wants them to do them.
He defends and he rebounds. Primary among those things.
So that's where the mistake is. They haven't been able to buy enough time with either Kuminga or Weissman to do what they did with Poole, which was to slow play him until he figured out sort of what his strength is in the NBA. Now, Poole has his own deficiencies, but he at least has had the time to figure out who he is and how to be that guy. Neither Weissman nor Kuminga have been able to do that yet, and maybe they never do. So, but I don't think the 2 timeline thing is necessarily as goofy as relying on 2 guys with almost no top-level playing experience to perform these miracles.
We actually are agreeing on this. You're trying to separate the players they drafted from the plan, and I consider the players they drafted part of the fabric of the plan. But other than that, we agree. It's a great question. Why did the Warriors draft Wiseman? Why did they draft Kuminga when they hadn't played much? And clearly, to me, the answer to that is because, again, they were looking for all the upside. A guy like Franz Wagner would have been an excellent pick, it appears now. And that's who I thought the Warriors should have picked when they took Kuminga. But the Warriors didn't go that way, even though they liked him, apparently because they thought a guy like Franz Wagner, Duarte, some of those players, they have a chance to be pretty good players, but Kuminga has a chance to be a superstar player because his physical gifts are that unique. So they took big chances on both players. And right now, to me, it's apparent, as I said, that best case scenario, if they develop into the players the Warriors hope they would be, it's going to take a lot longer. That's the brightest outlook for this right now. The brightest end to this is that, wow, they'll be really good, but it's going to take longer than we thought. And that's why they're in this predicament, because they need more from the young players. Just like, as I said, the Giants needed more from their young players this year, and the young players weren't ready to deliver.
Well, the younger players, we never saw any of them because they aren't ready to deliver.
Even Joey Bart, I'm including in that. But yeah, you're right.
I mean, the truth is, when you go to, and then this is more true in the NBA than anywhere else. when you go to somebody with no discernible pedigree, you're taking things on faith. You're going, man, he can jump high and he can block shots and he can do like really athletic stuff. But the game is no longer just about running up and down and showing how athletic you are. And it's definitely not that way with Golden State. So it might very well be that Weissman and Kuminga have long and delightful careers. But I'm not sure that it'll be here, because I don't know if the one timeline will stay open long enough for them to hit their stride.
Is it time to give up on the 2-timeline plan? If so, what's next? That's coming up next. It's Damon and Ratto. Whitey in for Damon. 95.7 The Game.
In Daly City, clear skies overnight, lows in the low 40s.
Weather brought to you by one thing. Improve your gas mileage by properly inflating tires and taking your car in for a tune-up. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow.
The Morning Roast is preparing for Judgment Day.
A walk-off home run to win the game. A Judgy and blast.
They want to hear your pitch to Aaron Judge on why he should come to the Giants.
Is Aaron Judge willing to do that? Can you sell Aaron Judge on that? That's the key.
It's your turn to pitch to Aaron Judge.
That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
Tomorrow on The Morning Roast.
Flying Ace, this is Sky Hunter. I've got my compound eyes on the target.
Copy that. You're on his flight path.
I'm going in.
Got him! Nice move, my four-wing friend.
Tasty. That mosquito never saw me coming.
See how dragonflies catch a mid-air meal at Bugs, a new exhibit at the California Academy of Sciences. Explore the secrets of bugs, massive models, and more. Now open. Get tickets at calacademy.org.
The world is a vampire.
Two of rock's biggest bands in a must-see monumental night. Spirits on Fire Tour. The Smashing Pumpkins.
With very special guest, Jane's Addiction.
November 15th, Chase Center.
Spirits on Fire Tour.
The Smashing Pumpkins with Jane's Addiction. And Poppy. On sale now. Buy tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Arcade Fire returns live in concert. The We Tour. Bill Graham Civic Auditorium, November 20th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Arcade Fire's new album, We, is available everywhere. Visit ArcadeFire.com.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX 888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT. And make us your last stop.
At the UPS Store, we know this upcoming holiday is when things can get busy for small business owners.
Exactly. My to-do list and I don't take days off.
That's why you can count on us to be open and ready to help with every small business need, whether it's packing and shipping or if it's just to check your mailbox.
That's almost everything on my to-do list. My list and I can take the day off.
Your local, the everything to help you be unstoppable store. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. The UPS Store locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Chris Cuomo is back with a new show on a new network. Catch Cuomo weeknights on News Nation at 5 and 8 p.m. Pacific. To find News Nation on your television provider, go to newsnationnow.com/join us.
Now back to Damon and Ratto on 95.7 The Game.
The 95.7 The Game merch store is live. Visit 957thegameshop.com today to check out all of your merchandise, from show-specific shirts to hoodies. It's all at 957thegameshop.com. I've suggested the plain Whitey tees, but I don't know that they actually are available yet. Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason in for Damon today, along with Ray Ratto, and we're breaking down as of right now anyway, the broken down Warriors, the 2-timeline plan. Ray, is it time for the Warriors to abandon that plan? It's certainly something, obviously, that they're having to take a hard look at. Here's Bob Myers. This was with Steiny and Guru yesterday. What the plan has always been for the young players and how much they could contribute.
I've always kind of thought that when we drafted the young guys, eventually they'd help us. But in the meantime, let's try to give, like we did last year, this team a chance to win a championship. Don't know if it would happen or not. And again, you don't really know with youth. Sometimes 20-year-olds help you. Sometimes they don't. When they don't, you got to look to some of the veterans. Some of our vets haven't played. DiVincenzo, I think, is a veteran in some sense. Iguodala, we'll see when he gets back. We leaned on a lot of the guys last year, and I'm sure that's been stated as to the value that those minimum guys brought last year. We'll see. It's a long deal. I think the young guys will do more than they're doing. I'd be surprised if this is what it is this early. I think the bench will be better. The starters, they have a good net rating, but even them, I think there's growth.
Here's the concerning thing, Ray. Wiseman neither one of them really has played that much. You mentioned how little they've played. Wiseman has barely played, and you don't even know if you send him to the G League, does that help him address the areas in which he needs to improve? I'm not sure it does. And Kuminga also hasn't played much. Going back to last year, how many times have we heard Steve Kerr, and I know you guys are going to talk to Steve Kerr tomorrow, how many times has Steve Kerr said, yep, Kuminga's in the rotation now? And then within a couple of games, he's back out. They've given him every chance, and they just did this, Ray. And I'm not coming after you. You're not arguing against this, but it just really illustrates and underscores where they are. Just recently, Friday, we're going to see Kuminga's going to play a lot more, and then he didn't play in the second half against Sacramento. He just can't stay on the floor. So how do you develop the young guys when they can't play well enough to stay on the floor for a team that wants to contend?
Well, the truth of the matter is they can't send both of them down to the G League at the same time because they need to have a large presence other than Looney. Yeah. And so,
Looney, you're talking about bigs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to play that role, because the whole idea behind drafting those two guys was so that Draymond Green did not have to play bigs 30 minutes a night. I think, somebody's going to have to, go down there and get those minutes. I think whichever one it is, it almost doesn't matter at this point. But in terms of your initial question, it's way too early to abandon anything. I mean, you can't just go up. These guys can't play because we saw them for 11 games and they're not useful, so let's get rid of them. And replace them with what? Well, neither of them have.
You need to make a trade, I think. And I know now.
But what guy helps you now?
Well, it's not clear who would be available. I'm not dodging your question.
That's the essential point. It's making a trade is irrevocable, and if you're going to do that, you have to be able to say to your team, if nobody else, I just made us better. And there's no such thing in this situation as addition by subtraction. They're going to have to stay with this for a good while longer. And if it gets to the point...
What's a good while longer? I think if...
Half a season, the All-Star break...
Trade deadline. I mean, to me, if it's January and this is still the way they're playing, it's time to do something, but I also think that might be too late.
Well, you know what? You roll the dice. I mean, this is part of the gamble. I mean, it's a sort of thing where when you take a pig in the poke, like the 49ers did with their draft choice a couple of years ago, and like the Warriors have done here in two different situations, you're hoping that your judgment's right. And so far, the jury's out on all three of them, because while everybody wants to rave about their upside is code for they don't get it yet. And you're either going to be patient with them because you're sort of all in on both of them, or you rip up your bench in the middle of a year after you just won a championship, and while your best player is having one of his best seasons ever. So how do you walk up to Stephen Curry and say, we're going to trade one of these guys, but we can't get anybody that'll help?
Well, you wouldn't do that.
If you could say, if you could tell me right now, if we move Weissman, we can get Miles Turner. Do that in a heartbeat.
Probably take you more to get that, but I'm with you.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But if you're just trading them to trade them because you don't want to look at them anymore.
No one is suggesting that.
But you've got to walk.
I thought I know. I'm not.
I didn't say you were. But you've got to walk.
You implied it. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Is it 5:54 yet?
Nope, not quite.
2 hours and 30 minutes, and I'm counting every second. No, I mean, dumping them because you're offended by them after one. I'm not saying you are.
But is anybody saying that? Pipe down. Is anybody saying? I don't know anyone that's saying that.
Nobody credible. But the point is, I don't know that you want to set a date where you go, if you don't have it by Christmas Day, we have to get rid of you. Or if you don't have it by Valentine's Day, we have to get rid of you. They might have to ride this out for a whole year.
Here's.
I mean, it's not. I mean, you can't just you don't dump these guys just because you're offended by them. You've got to get a return, because the core of your team, which is playing very well when it's just them,
the starting five is very well.
Deserves, if nothing else, to get immediate and useful help in any trade for either of those guys. And if you can't get that, don't bother.
Here is a nice piece of fuel for your argument. You go back to last year, and I think it was until early or mid-January, the Celtics were kind of, I mean, right-minded people were suggesting they need to break up this core because Brown and Tatum can't play together. And then January, it all came together. They ended up going to the finals. So you're right. You don't have to make that decision now. But you're also right when you say, with this core playing the way it is, with the starting five playing as well as they are, getting nothing from the bench, you have to start seriously considering, what can we get for our young guys? And if you do trade any of these guys, if you trade, and I'm being specific, if you trade Wiseman and or Kuminga, and or Poole, although he's awfully hard to trade now because he just signed his deal, then that in a way is admitting that, all right, this foundation of the future we were building, that's not working. And that's where I think they're already there. If they're not there, I think it's inevitable that they're going to be there. You're right. They're going to afford to wait, but they don't have the bench right now. You've got Steph playing well, and the bench has given you nothing. It's alarming. It's stunning how you see that drop off as soon as the bench players start coming in. The company line is, you know what? That's true, but Poole will play better, blah, blah, blah. These guys will not always play as poorly as they're playing now, but the young guys look so far away from where you need them to be right now. I think you have to seriously start looking at some of these trade possibilities.
Okay, well, I haven't heard any. I haven't heard any trade possibilities. All I've heard is the standard knee-jerk, they got to trade these guys. For what?
Well,
because that's because that's the answer to the question. Again, I made the point, you don't trade these guys to trade them. You trade them if you can improve the team that 1 through 5 looks like a championship contender.
People are going to scoff, and I don't think it would work now, as I mentioned with Poole's deal. If I could trade some of those young players and end up getting Kevin Durant, I would do that in the blink of an eye. But I don't think that's feasible. You'd have to have another team involved. That's if the Nets wanted to do it.
And you'd have to get a new coach.
If the Warriors wanted to do it. Really? I don't think so.
I think Steve got pretty fed up with that whole thing at the end. I mean, he loves his talent because he's not an idiot.
Yeah, and he wants to win.
I don't think he wants to re-inherit that.
Well, it's probably not
I know
feasible.
That's not an available trade for them. But you're going to have a guy who basically has had the run of a franchise for 2 years, and all of a sudden he's just going to be a part of the bigger picture in which there is a guy on that roster who is considered to be more important than he is, not talent wise, but just sort of emotionally and leadership wise. I don't know that Durant wants any part of that either.
I think you need to trade at some point here. Okay, I understand the argument that, you need to give him a little longer. At some point, you need to trade one of the two guys, and get something back for that one, and also to send a message to the other one, Ray.
They're both getting the message now. And they're getting the message through the most effective way possible. One of them's getting 8 minutes a game. The other one's getting 0 minutes a game.
But if they're getting the message and they're still not playing well, that's great. But it doesn't help me if I'm trying to win this year. But the window is closed. I know it's cliche, but you know what I mean? It is true. With an older team, the window on another potential championship, it's closing fast.
Is it closing fast?
Indiana Jones. I got to get underneath there before, here comes a boulder.
Is it closing that fast? Do you know that? See, after 11 games,
it is. Look at Clay and the way he's playing. Look at Draymond, and you got Steph.
Draymond Green is playing very well this year.
Playing well, yeah. Is he playing great? I wouldn't say so. I think there's some drop off there, and of course there is.
Wiggins is better than he's been.
Wiggins he's been up and down. A great game against Sacramento. I'm with you. He had played phenomenally. The starting five as a unit is playing well, but it's not sustainable. Steve Kerr said this himself after the last game. The way we won that game, the way we're playing now, we can't keep doing that.
Okay, but again, the devil's in the details. How do you make this better? Do you trade a guy now without any hope that you're getting a decent return?
No. That's not on the board.
No, so
I'm with you 100%. I'm not saying
so. If you're not going to these guys, but if you're not going to trade either one of them, then you stay with the plan you've got for as long as you possibly can, and it might be the trade deadline. It might just be then.
Here's what I'm sure you remember, Ray, you were here. Here's what Tim Kawakami told you and Larry about this.
Well, I wasn't paying attention to that.
Well, then you want to enjoy this Warrior trade situation and which of the young players they would be most likely to deal.
I would think the most tradable thing they've got is James Wiseman. I'm not reporting anything. I'm not saying anything. We know how much the front office loves him. We know how much Joe Lacob loves him, who has a pretty strong voice in all decision making. But that's a big contract, big salary next season. They picked up his option for next season. They have this big tax thing. There's one way to partial way to get out of it is to move him. Now, you probably can't take a salary coming back, or at least a future salary coming back. I don't know. Like, there are some tricky things coming up, and they can't really trade Poole until next season. So that's not a quick solution.
I was talking to my friend yesterday, Jerry Reynolds. I do a podcast with Jerry Reynolds. He used to coach the Kings, and we were talking yesterday about Wiseman, Ray. And this isn't like one of my buddies. This is a guy who used to coach in the league. And he said, look, Wiseman hasn't played. Wiseman needs to play. And if he can't play with the varsity, he needs to play with the JVs. But I don't know if sending Wiseman to the G League, I'm not sure how much that addresses, because his issues are having the sense of anticipation and the sense of recognition that he needs at the NBA level. If he goes down and balls out in the G League and builds up some confidence, I'm not sure that addresses the areas in which they really need him to improve.
Okay, but sitting him doesn't do that either.
Agreed. Absolutely.
So
you're absolutely right.
You're left with one option. If you believe that playing time can give you the best chance of getting the best Wiseman you can get, playing time's not up here. I mean, they're making that clear. Yeah, he should almost ask for a trip to the G League and just say, I need to get some run, and if I'm not getting it here and I don't want to leave, then send me down there. And then they give him, okay, here's what we want to see from you, and do it with specificity. They don't need to see him running free throw line to free throw line, pulling up from 18. They don't need that.
No.
They need him to be a warrior center, which is get rebounds, block shots, chain shots, set picks, initiate the offense without having the ball. And that's what he's got to be able to do. And you only get that if you basically tell the head coach in Santa Cruz, that's what we want from Wiseman. You make sure that that's all he's giving us for now.
That's why I think it's fair to question the wisdom of drafting him in the first place, because there weren't a lot of reasons to assume that he could be that type of player. He wasn't that type of player. So they gambled. They took a swing on talent, and right now it's apparent to me that Wiseman is not that type of center, doesn't want to be that type of center, and that's why I'm saying, in my opinion, I've seen enough to convince me it's not going to work. And I know it would be foolhardy to make that decision now, but that's my honest opinion based on what we've seen. I don't think it's going to work with Wiseman. What would you do right now? What would be your plan? So you're sending, I'm not trying to corner you so I can come after you. What would be your plan? You would send Wiseman to the G League? Would you, Kuminga, how do you figure out what to do with him?
I don't know. One of them. And then maybe bring that one back up and then send the other one down if you're not using him.
If I did think that maybe I would be able to trade Wiseman for something useful, as Tim Kawakami suggests, and that makes a lot of sense to me. What would be my best course of action if I'm thinking that? Am I better off? How do I preserve his trade value, in other words? Okay, and I know that's not your primary objective, is to help him now. But if that were part of my equation here, my calculation, what's the best solution?
If you were thinking that Wiseman gets you a better return.
Yeah, and maybe not right now.
You send Wiseman down first, try to ramp him up, and then bring him back up, and then see if he's now got what you've asked him to do. And if he does, you don't trade him.
On the text line here, and I know that you're not a huge fan of the text line. I am. Xfinity mobile text line.
But you've never explained why. I think you're just lonely.
888-957-9570. From the 510, you almost act like Wiseman can't make a mistake. They need to tell him he's playing a certain amount of minutes and stop messing with his minutes. I understand, Sir Madam, why you say that, but I think that's a reflection of how some Warrior fans, when it comes to Wiseman right now, are delusional, because they're trying desperately to do that, and they can't give him, you'll have these minutes, because he can't stay on the floor, because he gets into foul trouble, and he struggles defensively, and it hurts this team too much when they're doing that to continue to do that.
They're not his minutes. Let's start with that. They're the team's minutes, and they get to divide them up any way they see fit. Wiseman is owed no minutes. It's what he earns. And the same is true of Kuminga, and the same is true of Moody, and the same is true of Poole. You earn what you get. And Steve Kerr has basically lived by that with every player other than the core three since he got here. And the problem is that those guys haven't earned, quote, their minutes yet. So it's up to them. It's not up to the Warriors to grant them minutes just because they exist.
I understand the concept, though, Ray. I agree with you, but the concept is, look, as a young guy, he needs to know he's going to get to play. Not because he's entitled, but that's the best way you develop him. My point is they are trying to do that, and he can't. Neither one of them can play well enough to stay on the floor. It reminds me of a few years ago when the Giants bullpen was struggling, and we know that Boch was a great bullpen manager. And this was, when things were starting to unravel, and people were complaining about their roles, and Boch said, you just got to get somebody out. And then all of a sudden, we know who's got what role. So for these guys, what are their roles? They have to play better when they do play, or you don't get to have a role. We can't afford to give you one.
No, that's the whole point. And the theory that, you've got to give young guys run so they can get used to it, not on a team with championship aspirations.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're Houston or somebody, you're in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. Yeah, two birds with one stone. Yeah. These guys get to develop, and then we have no chance to win, and we're tanking.
In some ways,
very subtle tanking.
In some ways, their draftees got a break in that they're getting to be on a good team or a potentially good team. The bad break for them is they have to struggle to get minutes because, one, there is already a hierarchy, and two, when they get in and they don't perform well, they don't get to stay there. And that's just the deal. It's just, you don't get to just say, well, I need 18 minutes a game. Well, you might need that, but you got to earn 12 first. Then we'll talk about 18. Then we'll talk about 24. But first, you got to show us that you can do 12.
By the way, Damon and Ratto streaming live on YouTube. Head to youtube.com/957 The Game to watch us live. See what's going on inside the studio with Ray. It's so funny in studio. Remember, like and subscribe for all 95.7 The Game content on YouTube. Whitey in for Damon. Hopefully Damon is back soon. On the text line here, the Xfinity Mobile text line, you have to give them some minutes just by the fact that you can't play the starters 48 minutes every night. That's from Damien. Damien, first of all, thank you for putting your name on it. Yeah, but
the math there is true. But in terms of what you have to do, the Warriors are essentially saying, well, right now, one guy's getting 8 minutes, the other guy's getting a DNP-CD. And
did not play coach's decision.
Oh, they know that.
For the,
For the what? For the person who's not listening to us? We care about that guy?
So did not play coach's decision. Yeah.
No, it's just long term, one of those two has to emerge. But they're trying to figure out which one of them it's going to be. And so far, they're not getting satisfactory answers from either of them.
How would you evaluate that? And I know maybe it's not fair because they're both struggling. Who's further along? Who is more promising? To me, Kuminga is more promising than Wiseman.
Why?
Because I think that he shows glimpses of tremendous athletic ability, his ability to dunk. I still think there are times when he gives him a boost of energy when he comes in. I think that last year that was to a degree that was his role. We need some energy. Let's go. He can still supply that. And I just think he has more athletic ability than Wiseman, who looks at times in NBA terms, I'm not talking about some guy, at the mall, but in NBA terms, a little slow and a little awkward still. And some of that's lack of experience, but in that regard, Kuminga is much more advanced to me.
But see, that's all physical stuff. And that's only part of the equation in the NBA. It's a lot of guys have physical stuff. I don't evaluate those guys based on, man, they can run, and man, they can jump, and boy, what an upside they have. Until they figure out what they're doing, they're of no help. And that's the part about being a 10-year or 12-year NBA player that you have to get. You have to figure out what your job is, what your role is, what your skill is, and then you have to mesh them together. And that's why right now, people are so down on both of them because they all got invested in, ooh, look at that athletic upside, as though jumping and dunking is all you really need to see from a big guy. Not on this team. You need to do everything but that. You know, those are nice skills to have, but they are not as important as learning how to rebound, learning how to block out, all the fundamental nuanced stuff that the Warriors insist upon.
Learning how to play defense, team defense. Coming up here, Ray, a lot of people wondering about, all right, well, who would you trade him for? Well, there is one trade that's been spreading like wildfire across the Warrior fan base here. We'll see if you're interested in that coming up.
Right?
Huh? I don't think it's. That's a great tease, though. Yeah, I got to tell you. That's coming up next year. It's Damon and Ratto, Whitey in for Damon, and we are presented by Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises.
Hey, if you're looking for that great holiday gift or maybe a stocking stuffer, go to 957thegameshop.com for all your swag. Go get a Steiny and Guru Rat on the Table t-shirt. It's nice. 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 That's 957thegameshop.com.
No one knows where this market will go. Things could change tomorrow, next week, or next month. At Merrill, we've been here before, and history shows this is the time to stay focused on your future. Because through every market, the bull will always have your back. Find an advisor in the Bay Area at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor. Member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
California, you deserve more. And with United Healthcare, you'll get more. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. So call United Healthcare today. With the United Healthcare Medicare Advantage Plan, you get more from your Medicare dollar, now including better than ever dental, vision, over-the-counter, and prescription drug coverage. Call United Healthcare at 1-888-CALL-UHC today and speak with a licensed sales agent. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Why wait to save? Dell Technologies Black Friday event arrives early with select deals on top tech to power business productivity. The savings start now with up to 48% off performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Hi, welcome to the IKEA Holiday Prep event, here to help you host the season with offers, in-store workshops, and more.
Oh, great. I may have invited the whole neighborhood for the holidays.
Don't worry, you can do this. To start, IKEA family members save 20% on Venturfint Christmas tree decor and gift wrap.
You are my hero.
Visit us in-store or at IKEA-USA.com/holiday prep to get ready and save. Offer valid 11/9 to 11/23/22. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. Restrictions apply.
This football season, adopt a new tradition that's sure to turn fans into family. The Jim Beam Highball. That's beam and soda over ice with a lemon slice. Share one at the stadium or make one at home. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2022, James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
At Harris Ranch, we do beef, just like we've done for over 50 years. Beef that's raised locally right here in California. Tender steaks, awesome burgers, and California classics like tri-tip roast. The flavor you crave, the quality you trust time after delicious time. Come on, it's time to get out and grill. Harris Ranch, we do beef. Legendary beef, legendary quality.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live, 60 minutes before tip-off of every Warriors game. Brought to you by Xfinity. Supercharge your home with supersonic Wi-Fi. Unbeatable internet, only from Xfinity.
Hi, I'm Aaron, owner of California Deluxe Windows. Ever notice? When your neighbors get new windows, there is a large black eye of broken stucco, uneven plaster, and even mismatched paint. At California Deluxe Windows, we never leave a ring around the window. Why? Because we are one of the only companies in California who custom crafts every window and door to your home's exact measurements. Almost everyone else on the radio is a distributor. They grab a window from a warehouse, break open your walls, shove it in, and patch things up. At California Deluxe Windows, we take pride in our work. Our installation technique is so precise, we do not break your stucco. Your house could be covered with potato chips, and we wouldn't crack one.
Call now, and for a limited time, you get 30% off your entire order and 24 months of interest-free financing. 800-874-3600. 800-874-3600. That's 800-874-3600. California Deluxe Windows. Windows engineered for life.
Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774518.
Neuropathy pain? Call Dr. Robert Dees, DC, 925-393-0100.
Football season is here. The new Odyssey app lets you stay connected to your NFL team, your station, your shows. Follow your favorite stations and come back again and again. Get real-time updates on everything you care about. Miss your show? Jump back to their awesome Rewind feature. The Odyssey app is NFL football. Live and on demand. Wherever you are, whenever you want. And did we mention it's all free? Download the Odyssey app today.
Hey, it's Tiki Barber. When part of your offense isn't firing on all cylinders, it shows. And sometimes the only solution is to replace that part with something new. It's true on a championship team, and it's also true with cars. That's why I love eBay Motors. They have all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. That way you can get the parts you need to make your car a winner. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Hi there, I'm your host, Dog, filling in for the human who's normally here and bringing you the smells and sounds of the holidays, courtesy of Beggin' Dog Treats.
We wish you a begging Christmas. We wish you a begging Christmas. Dog rest ye merry Doberman, let begging you acquire. Deck the halls with strips of begging. Arf, 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 arf.
Remember, for bacon-loving dog excitement this holiday, it's begging!
Now back to Damon and Ratto on 95.7 The Game.
She grew up in the Indiana town. Whitey in for Damon today on 95.7 The Game. Hey, we're sponsored by Trimark, which has been partnering with independent restaurateurs in Northern California for more than 55 years. Trimark brings you innovative product solutions to help your hospitality business thrive. Visit TrimarkWest.com. We're going to talk to the playmaker, Michael Irvin, a little after 4. We got that coming up. Also, Trent Williams will be with us today in the 4 o'clock hour. Michael Irvin, by the way, Ray, as you well know, in Deutschland. He's in Munich getting ready for Tampa Bay and Seattle. So I don't know, would that be a decent time to call him? I mean, I'm not sure the whole, and then we have daylight savings. I'm not sure if that works.
Hell with him.
Yeah?
Call him anyway.
All right. Yeah, we got him.
It's not like he's doing this for free. Okay. This $50 we're paying him, let's make him earn it.
$50 is what I used to get when I hosted horror films on Saturday nights on Channel 58 in Sacramento. $50 a show. Cha-ching. Yeah.
How old were you then? 9?
It was earlier in my career. It was a lot of fun. Ton of fun.
You didn't answer the question.
No,
At what point were you satisfied with $50?
Well, it was all part and parcel of the whole overall package. It was just it was fun. Tremendous fun. People are wondering here, all right, wise guy or former rise guy, you want to trade? You want to swing a trade? Who would the Warriors trade for? There is one trade rumor that's been out and about, Ray. And I think it goes back to late in the summer. And then, let's see, I just traced it back to a source who spoke with Sean Devaney of Heavy Sports about this. That might be where this started. And that was from October. And here's the potential deal. that the Warriors, if they look to potentially move on from some of the young guys, they could trade James Wiseman to the Spurs for a protected pick and Jakob Poeltl. So what do you think of that potential trade scenario, Ray? We're not saying it's a rumor is these teams are talking about this. This could happen. Not saying that. There are reports that Poeltl could be a piece the Spurs are looking to move. Windhorse reported that, but this is a suggestion that Warriors could get protected pick Jakob Poeltl for James Wiseman.
They could do it. I mean, their salaries are roughly equivalent. But
doesn't bowl you over?
I don't know.
I like it.
I mean, I don't know if Greg Popovich is going to be any more endeared by Weissman than Steve Kerr is.
You know, I think that's the key to it too. I agree with you 100%.
And unless the Spurs are in full gut it mode, and are willing to just roll the dice on a guy who cannot play on a team like Golden State, I don't know if that's one that would appeal to Popovich and R.C. Buford. I don't know, because I don't know how the Spurs think about a lot of things, but that would be the first question I would have is, okay, who are you getting?
I'm with you. It's kind of like that old saying in football, if Belichick wants one of your players, then don't trade him. He's better than you think. And I feel that way to a lesser degree, about Pop and the Spurs. If they want one of your guys, maybe he's better than you think he is. But just on the surface
that's the old Pop who wasn't coaching a team that looks like it's going to win 30 games.
Yeah, I know. From the Warriors' standpoint, I could see how it would be tough for the franchise to admit that, all right, look, we thought this guy was going to be a franchise center. It's not working out. We're getting Jakob Poeltl. But if you're just looking at this year, how could you be better this year? How could you improve your chances at making another run, maybe at another championship this year? Wiseman out, Poeltl in, I think helps you a lot in that regard, Ray. I really do.
Well, it helps you. It doesn't help the other guy.
It might.
Why?
Because as you said, they're trying to, they may be in tank mode, trying to increase, I should say, the odds of getting Wembanyama.
Okay, but...
And then you have Wiseman. It's like, we'll let him play. Who knows? Maybe he's a guy after all. We'll let him play the whole season. We would have that luxury. You don't have that luxury. And then maybe we got something at the end of the year.
Yeah, I just don't know that if San Antonio is trying to tank...
if they're trying to tank, I think it does make sense for them.
No, because if what you're talking about is we're going to get the young guy who can't play for my pal in San Francisco, I don't know that that's helping them turn the corner and say, here's a potential foundational piece. They don't need potential foundational pieces. That's what drafting Wembanyama would be.
Right.
So I don't see the lure for San Antonio, just because I think they need to see more from Weissman before they do this to get a sense that here's a guy we could keep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, the reasoning would be we won't be as good. This actually helps us, increases our chances of drafting high, and maybe we end up with Wembanyama, and we take a flyer on a guy that presumably, if they had interest, they would like the guy. We'll play him, and we'll see. We think maybe we have a player here, and if we don't at the end of the year, we really haven't lost that much. So something to keep an eye on. Again, it's not a rumor, something that's been suggested.
That's what rumors are.
No. A rumor is, hey, these guys are talking about this trade. That's a rumor. This is, people have said, maybe the two teams would do that. They haven't had any discussions that I know of. That's the difference between a suggestion and a rumor, right? And I think you know that. Do you know this? Do you know that Steve Kerr today talked about why he's playing Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb ahead of his 2 lottery picks? What do you think of that so far, by the way? I know coming in here and doing some pre and post for the Pistons game and doing Warriors This Week with JD, a lot of people are they don't like that idea. Wait a minute. You got your 2 ways and they're ahead of your lottery guys? What do you make of that situation, Ray?
Steve Kerr is trying to find guys who will do what he needs. And if you're not getting that from the young guys you've got, you got to find it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem with that. It's, they're not in a position where they can just give away games early on just to give young guys run. I mean, that's sort of the dichotomy here. It's that their bench has been so poor that if you're not going to change the starters, and they shouldn't because they're doing very well as a unit, you've got to change something. And so you're going to change the bench. And that's what Ty Jerome is there for. And they're not playing him like 30 minutes a game. They're not playing him even 20 minutes a game.
They're playing him, but
Anthony Lamb is playing more than, and Anthony
they're playing
Lamb,
a lot more than anyone thought they were going to play. Both.
Yeah, but what anyone thought they would do is out the window because the Warriors didn't think the difference between their starters and their bench would be so profound.
Why are these guys playing, Coach Kerr?
The thought process is, when you're struggling and you don't have a rhythm, you don't have consistency, veteran players are going to be able to provide that more than young players are. And so, Ty and Anthony are both, relatively young, but, 4-year college players. They've learned a lot more. They've absorbed a lot more than our younger guys. And so they're more capable of allowing different groups to click, defending without fouling. You've seen, Lamb, you just watched Lamb, every defensive play on the interior, he's here instead of in here. And so as we're trying to clean up our defense, it's Ty, same thing. He defends without fouling. He doesn't turn the ball over. Those are crucial things when our margin for error is really slim.
I'll tell you what, Coach Kerr and Bob Myers, this is really a challenge for them, right, Ray? Because they're trying to couch this and be as diplomatic as they can be. And they have a lot of experience with this, so it's like second nature. But when it comes down to is Wiseman and Kuminga stink right now, and these guys are playing reasonably well. But you can't say that. Right? So you have to say, well, they're playing defense without fouling and things like that. It's I'm sure it's not easy, but there's a very good explanation from Steve Kerr why those guys are playing. Lamb, I'm not sure about. To me, Ty Jerome is he's a pretty good player.
Well, but Lamb gives them a big guy they don't have.
Well, he's only 6'6", I think.
But he plays closer to the basket. And with the Warriors, it's not about how tall you are. It's about the function you serve. And the fact is, Kerr likes these guys only more than the production he's getting from the guys he would prefer to play if they were up to speed.
Yep.
And so you're not going to sit there and just wait. I know we just got 8 crummy minutes from Kuminga, but let's give him another 8. Maybe he'll figure it out then. Then you're getting 16 bad minutes. And it's not like the things they want those guys to do are things you have to ramp up to do. You can come on the floor immediately and rim protect. You can come on the floor immediately and rebound or set a proper pick and roll from it correctly. I mean, those are things you don't need to have 5 minutes of sort of run to get used to. Those are the things you should be able to pick up immediately. And the fact is, because they don't get much more run than that. Steve Kerr says, I'm giving you minutes right now. Show me what you're doing. They don't get what they want, and he just says, okay, you had your chance to show me. Simple stuff. Doesn't mean stuff you have to get into a rhythm to perform. And you're not performing them, or you're not performing them consistently. Come sit with me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing is they're not being asked to basically run the second unit. They're basically being asked to support the starters when possible and make a difference on the second unit. And they're doing none of those things, and that's why they're not seeing much time.
And that brings us to our 4 o'clock hour. Welcome.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app. Damn well better be free.
Good one, Ray. Yeah, it's Whitey in for Damon today. Damon and Ratto, 95.7 The Game. Got the playmaker, Michael Irvin, coming up this hour. Trent Williams as well. And we'll get back to the Warrior conversation here. But, Ray, with a new hour underway, I wanted to see what you thought about Willard and Dibbs and their plan to secure Aaron Judge for the Bay Area. As you probably know, you got Willard and Dibbs doing their show tomorrow from Linden, California. Rest of the week, I believe, and they're just trying to find anybody in town who has any connection with Aaron Judge, trying to find out everything they can about Aaron Judge. They're hoping to actually find Aaron Judge. So does this really increase the Giants' chances of landing the prize free agent slugger?
Knowing Willard and Dibley as we do, it probably decreases it by about 23%.
That'd be.
I mean, if you see those two mutants on your street.
Yeah, but if you're Aaron Judge, like, oh, man, they must really want me back home in the Bay for those guys to come do their show from my hometown.
That moves him in no ways whatsoever. The Giants have to pile up the most money and pile up the most money by a significant margin. They have to outbid the most crazed bidders because that's how you make a breakthrough.
To what extent, in your opinion, do they need to do that? Do they need to leave no dollar potentially unoffered, no stone unturned in their pursuit of Aaron Judge?
If that's the guy they want, then empty it out.
Yes.
But is that the only guy they want? I don't think they're one player away. I think they're more than one player away. Now, if they wanted to throw the book at
But they
Aaron
could
Judge,
go after Aaron Judge and steal somebody else.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, they could do that. But are they in the mood to give Aaron Judge upwards of $50 million a year and then
Rizzo,
Trey
for example.
Turner
Trey
40?
Okay. All right.
I don't see Charlie Johnson as that guy.
You don't think they're sobered by the fact that no one's coming to the games anymore?
They could be sobered all they want, but an additional $90 million of payroll every year with nothing else changing.
They can afford it, right? You know that.
But they've given every indication of not wanting to afford it.
I know, but it's possible that there's been a sea change because you look at the Dodgers and you look at the Padres who actually went all in on stars, and all of a sudden we're looking up at those teams, and Arizona that went the other way, developing young talent. My goodness, that's a good team. We better do something, because if we're mediocre again, tumbleweeds will be the only things you see at Oracle Park.
You're assuming that those guys are moved principally by baseball. And I suggest that they are moved principally by the business of baseball.
You mean they could make money even if people don't care about the team?
They made money this year when few people...
I don't like that.
Well, get over it. Life's about crummy things happening to you till your first hip replacement. And then when that goes badly, you die. That's life. I have not yet seen this Giants ownership say, we're getting our hats blocked. We've got to start playing in the free agent market.
I think they've given
deep.
every indication that they at least want us to think that's what they're doing this year.
Well,
and if you aren't going to do it and you suggest you are, you're at cross purposes. So then your fans are like, what's going on? Which fans have already been down that road with the Giants and potential free agents. At some point, you're going to have to deliver on all these promises.
If they get Aaron Judge, and that's all they do,
and it'll all be because of Dibbs and Willard. Go ahead.
I hope their car gets stolen and they have to stay in Linden for the rest of their lives.
Two cars, Ray. They're not driving together. Come on.
Why not?
Because they're coming from two different directions. Don't you listen to the show? Go ahead.
Well, no, but no. If all you get is Aaron Judge, they're not good enough to be a playoff team yet. I don't believe. I mean, their bullpen was shambolic last year.
Right, but that's not a reason not to get Aaron Judge. You just have to do more.
No. But I'm saying if you're going to play, it means go get Aaron Judge and then muscle up another $40 million a year for several years down the road and get Trey Turner too.
I hear he doesn't. Seriously, I hear he's not a left coast guy and doesn't want to play here.
Well, maybe he doesn't, but the equivalent thereof. I mean, Aaron Judge on his own.
Correa, Rizzo. Would Rizzo and Judge do it for you?
No. At some point.
What if you bring back Rodon as well?
That might be more intriguing, but that's still only adding one person. I mean, I think if you're gonna not be this team, you've got, you're about done waiting for these minor leaguers to appear, and it looks like they may have just, they hit a dry well with them. Mm-hmm. Then you've got to fast track in this division with two teams that spend like lunatics. You've got to spend like a lunatic too. And that means Aaron Judge plus.
Yes.
If all you do is
agree
Judge,
with you.
And what I'm saying is, I don't see Charlie Johnson as that guy. They'll make an effort for Judge. I don't think he's going to come here because I think the Yankees, A, would match anything, and B, the Giants, as presently constituted, are not a deep run contender.
How likely is it that Aaron Judge is using the Giants to up the ante to make sure he gets every last dollar from the Yankees?
Bryce Harper did it. He got more money out of the Phillies that way, and he had no intention of ever coming here. I mean, yeah, why? Nothing bad.
But his favorite player was Rich Aurelia. Sorry. I'm trying not to be as cynical as you.
Do you ever listen to the sentences that you're forming before they leave your face?
I mean, there has been this narrative that's been constructed since going back even to the All-Star game last year about Aaron Judge and how much he has always loved the Giants. And it's kind of comforting to think in those terms. And now just the thought that he didn't really like the Giants, he's just using him. It's not a pleasant thought today. That's all.
Well,
so I'm choosing to turn a blind eye to that.
Well,
that's all.
Okay, if you want
Rich Aurelia, baby.
If you want to live in Narnia, you go ahead. I'm telling you that
is that near Linden?
I want to hurt you now. And if it wasn't too much trouble to get out of the chair, I would.
Yeah, it would be unfortunate.
I'm telling you, the Giants have to outbid everybody by a significant amount because one thing we know about Aaron Judge is he wants to win.
Yes.
And by winning, he means deep runs.
All indications from the Giants have been that they're all in on Judge and more, and I just don't think it would behoove them if they really were not. There are ways you can couch that without setting up fan expectations to be dashed again. So I think they are legitimately interested in multiple big free agents, and I think they have a shot at pulling it off. Otherwise, it's ludicrous the way they've handled this.
Well, I haven't heard them say that much directly. I've heard a lot of people speculate, well, that's what they ought to think. And I don't think that's what the guy who signs the check necessarily thinks. Because Judge and Impact Player 2 is an additional $75 million a year at the very minimum.
A bargain. Given what he would give you. Aaron Judge.
If it's but
you're relevant again after all of this.
It's not irrelevant if you're
you're relevant again, I said. If you get him, you're relevant again.
But do they want to be relevant or do they want to make money? I am not clear on what the Giants...
Hand in hand, right?
No, not hand in hand. They made money this year. Every team in baseball made money this year. And they'll make more money as years go on because it's a real estate deal. Owning a franchise.
The green and gold made money?
What?
The green and gold made money?
Yes. Wow. What did they spend?
I know.
I mean, their salaries were what, $28? I mean, no, everybody made money in baseball again.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, do the Johnsons, Charlie and Greg, want to say, you know what, we have to double our payroll?
Real quick here, 888-957-9570. Let's go to RJ in Napa on 95.7 The Game. Hey, RJ, what's going on in Napa?
Not a whole lot. Good afternoon, radio legends. I don't want to be Debbie Downer or anything, but Aaron Judge, much like Bryce Harper, Juan Soto, Manny Machado, et cetera, is not coming to the Giants. This is why. The reason Aaron Judge is in this prime position as this year's preeminent free agent is due to, wait for it, statistics, okay? The way you get statistics is you hit in a hitter-friendly ballpark. It is never going to happen with the Giants. The only way they're going to acquire players is through a trade or through the draft. This free agent thing, these guys do not want to come here. So I'm just don't want to be bah humbug before the holidays, but everybody needs to live in the now and get a grip. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, RJ. I appreciate that. But it is a more hitter-friendly park than it used to be, Ray. We know that. I mean, last year the Giants hit, 487 home runs, whatever it was. Not this last year, but the year before.
2,911.
They did.
That's
yeah,
what it was.
Yeah. So it's not the cemetery for fly balls that it used to be.
No, but...
And you're overlooking, RJ and Napa, Aaron Judge's professed love for the franchise and Rich Aurelia. And I don't think you...
Great jumping, Jesus.
I'd like to think that matters on some level.
I know you like to think that.
If the Giants knew that, and if RJ knows it, the Giants would know it, and they would not be banging the drum as loudly as they are, because that just ends up embarrassing them.
But are they banging the drum, or is it people banging the drum on their behalf, hoping that they'll bang the drum?
I think it's both. And I think some of the people banging the drum on their behalf are people who are doing that literally on their behalf. Like, hey, could you bang that drum? We'll see. We'll see soon enough.
They don't
Aaron
need
Judge,
anybody.
Rich Aurelia, Willard and Dibbs, I like the Giants' chances.
I know you're just playing an idiot on the radio, but that is an idiot.
No, I really am an idiot.
No, you really aren't. You're a delightful human being and a relatively intelligent one as well, which is why when you propose things like this, I wonder...
Something to keep an eye on.
I wonder if you aren't really just a great actor.
Coming up, the 95.7 The Game merch store live, as I've mentioned earlier. Visit 957thegameshop.com. Check out all our merchandise, from show-specific shirts to hoodies, all at 957thegameshop.com. Coming up, the playmaker Michael Irvin. Hopefully he'll be available to join us from Munich, Germany, where he's getting ready for Tampa Bay and Seattle. Going to ask him, and I think I know what he's going to say, where he would go if he were Odell Beckham Jr. How much do the Niners actually need him? That's next. Michael Irvin joins us. It's Damon and Ratto. Whitey in for Damon, 95.7 The Game.
The world is a vampire.
Two of rock's biggest bands in a must-see monumental night. Spirits on Fire Tour. The Smashing Pumpkins. With very special guest, Jane's Addiction. November 15th, Chase Center. Spirits on Fire Tour. The Smashing Pumpkins with Jane's Addiction. And Poppy. On sale now. Buy tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Fire returns live in concert. The We Tour. Belgraham Civic Auditorium, November 20th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Arcade Fire's new album, We, is available everywhere. Visit ArcadeFire.com.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Salute our veterans and wrap up the Bay Area hot rodding season in style at America's favorite car show. It's the Good Guys 32nd Autumn Get-Together, and it's all happening this weekend at the Alameda County Fairgrounds in Pleasanton. See over 2,500 of the Bay Area's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and trucks of all years on display. Plus, don't miss Good Guys CPP Autocross Series racing action featuring the Fall Shootout. Our Veterans Day weekend celebrations include our Vets for Vets Parade and so much more. It's all going down this weekend at the Alameda County Fairgrounds. Get details at good-guys.com.
With energy bills as high as they are, proper weatherproofing is essential. If you're working with a client to upgrade or build a new home, be sure to visit Golden State. They partner with respected brands such as Owens Corning, James Hardy, and Boral Siding. They're a great option for a comfortable home with lower energy bills. Start at goldenstatelumber.com. Building better in the Bay Area since 1954. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
This Veterans Day, Outdoor Supply Hardware is giving 20% off to retired or active military service members. Visit Osh November 11th through 13th and receive 20% off with ID. This discount is on top of Osh's end-of-season clearance sale. Save up to $200 on in-stock fire tables and patio heaters, or save $100 on select Weber propane grills. Osh has great price in-stock holiday decor, artificial trees, lights, and inflatables. Visit 14 Greater Bay Area and Central Coast Osh locations. Osh, neighbors helping neighbors.
Are you interested in new career opportunities in the Bay Area and want to make a difference in your community? The SF Sheriff's Office is looking for people considering a job in law enforcement right now. If you're at least 20 years or older with a high school diploma or equivalent, the SF Sheriff's Office wants to hear from you. Enjoy full benefits, flexible schedules, and opportunities for growth and promotion. For employment announcements and more information, visit sfsheriff.com. That's sfsheriff.com to apply today.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
You can't get much for $5 these days, unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 Biggie Bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT, plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $5.
You got that bag. You got that Biggie Bag. You got that bag.
That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're gonna feel when you get that Biggie Bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
In Daly City, clear skies overnight, lows in the low 40s.
Weather brought to you by one thing. Install a low-flow shower head and keep water off when brushing teeth or shaving to save water every day. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow.
Now back to Damon and Ratto on 95.7 The Game.
The great Michael Irvin joining us here from Germany. Michael, thanks for joining us. How you like in Munich, Germany, and Guten Abend or Auf Wiedersehen? I'm not sure which was appropriate right now, depending on what time it is there.
Well, it's about 11, come after 11 here, 11:15 p.m. actually. So, you know what I mean? I'm just chilling around. Listen, let me tell you something, dude. I got here, guys. I got here yesterday. You know how you get in about 11:30 in the morning. I got in about 11:30 in the morning. 11:30 in the morning. And they tell you, do not go to sleep. Just run out the day. Run out the day and then wait to go to sleep at night. Of course, me. I'm saying that, that's for regular people. I'm a super athlete. I don't need to listen to this. I can go to sleep right now, wake up, go to the soccer game, do all the promoting for the football NFL game, and come back and go to sleep again. Man, I could not go back to sleep last night. I was up watching the clock at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I was going crazy. I said, I guess I am a regular person. I can't even go to sleep. This is what they were talking about.
That's poor clock management, Michael. That's what that is.
That's what that was, poor clock management. I should have gotten in at 10, 11 o'clock and started something. Go to lunch, have some drinks, go run that day out, and then fall asleep at 10:30 at night. They said I would have slept through, but I didn't do it right. I'll know next time.
Do you think if you had handled the clock a little better, you might be the coach in Indianapolis today?
Ooh.
That's a good one, buddy. That's a good one. And a great way to ask the question. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like anybody can get the job. Now, I love Jeff Saturday. I think he's a great dude. He's a great guy. He's done great work over at ESPN, but we know that's sort of the same story. Getting those opportunities. Who gets those kinds of opportunities? And I don't see how they don't think when something like that happens, even when it happens in Indy, how do they not see that Brian Flores is going to try to pull that right in his lawsuit, even though the lawsuit is Miami? You see what I'm saying? He's going to say that's exactly what I was talking about. That's exactly what that I was talking about, and it's permanent, and it's throughout the NFL.
Michael, this is, I know, kind of a layup, but a lot of people around here are wondering about Odell Beckham Jr. and maybe a fit with the 49ers. And I know where you're going to go here. If you were Odell Beckham Jr., where would you play?
Well, no. Listen, this is a great question. That's a great question also, because the truth of the matter is Odell wants to go and play for a contender, right? There's no doubt. And San Fran is a contender. Dallas is a contender. Philadelphia is a contender, but probably not interested because they're pretty set. So it does come down to Dallas or San Francisco. And either one of those guys, either one of those teams, I think he would be happy. Now, to be honest with you, I know Odell and talk with Odell when he was in New York and certainly in Cleveland. And way back in those days, we've had conversations about him playing for Dallas, and he always wanted to play. He talked about how it would be nice for him to play for Dallas because a lot of his family is in Dallas, and he's had such great games against Dallas. And I try to use that in any kind of recruiting form. I said, man, if you had great games playing in AT&T Stadium, imagine the kind of year you can have if that's your home stadium. And you can put 8 of those or 9 of those on the season together. You could have a hell of a season. But either one, he couldn't. It would be great. And I'm going to tell you something. It'll be one of those two.
From the 49ers standpoint, do you think they need him? How much do they need OBJ?
OBJ puts either team over the top. Over the top. Now, if you want me to sit here and say you cannot use OBJ, that would be absolutely incorrect. And the good thing you have is the offense, he's already gotten it. He was in it last year. You know what I mean? He knows it. It's the same thing. You may have a few things change here and there, but it's very, very, very similar if it's San Francisco, and that may weigh in on his decision.
What, though, do you think would be the best football fit for him? If really what he just wants to go to is a contender, what's the team that plays the style that is most conducive to him thriving?
Okay, now, honestly, if you want to say that, I would have to say that's San Francisco, because he was going to get MVP in that Super Bowl. If he would have stayed healthy and continued playing, he would have ended up, I believe, with the MVP of that Super Bowl. That's how good he looked. That's how well he was playing in that system. Now, that was with Matt Stafford, who wants to go up the field probably too much and throws too many interceptions going up the field, as opposed to being Jimmy Garoppolo, who probably doesn't want to go up the field as much. You see what I'm saying? So he has to weigh in. I got the offense down over here, and I know it fits my skill set over here. But I got this quarterbacking in San Francisco. Will I have a better opportunity catching more plays, catching more passes, and more opportunities up the field if I'm in Dallas? And I say he would.
Michael, the 49ers are playing the Chargers, and of course when they played the Chargers in the Super Bowl years ago, they got there by beating you guys in the NFC title game. And it sounds like you're thinking we're headed for another Cowboy 49er NFC title game. And Ray doesn't want me to ask you this, but is it possible that in that NFC title game that the officials missed a PI on Deion Sanders, that maybe he interfered with? Is it possible that they...
You want to just live in my pain area, huh? And that's that's like rubbing salt right on in that old wound on the scab that ain't all the way healed yet, Every day I deal with that. Every day. Super Bowl 29 that was in Miami. was my MVP Super Bowl. It was my MVP Super Bowl. And, yeah, that pass interference. And the decision I made to sit back and wait on that ball to fall as opposed to attacking that football cost me that opportunity. And, yeah, I dwell on it every day. So I don't need you peeling back the scab off that and pouring salt up in that wound. You can stay off that right there. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's going to be between Philly, San Fran, and Dallas. Those three teams, two of those three teams will be in the NFC Championship game.
The 49ers play the Chargers this weekend.
And I'm hoping Philly and San Fran run into each other, and we only have to go through one of them.
Yeah.
Because going through two would be difficult.
Yeah, the 49ers have the Chargers this weekend, and if there is a more weirdly inconsistent team in football than the Chargers, I don't know who they would be. What would you think is the one thing that the Chargers lack that keeps them from being an elite team in the AFC?
Well, honestly, right now it's been health, and you guys all know that. You know, it's just been their health. I love everything they got. And I love Austin Eckler as a running back and a leader. And I love his story coming from where he came from. So that plays into it. I love Justin Herbert, who had wrote about playing quarterback for the Chargers. So that's homegrown. That's right there. And you know, Kellen, you know what they have at wide receiver. You know they got Mike Williams, the big guy, the guy who goes up 17, and Allen. You know, so they got talent. They got it everywhere. It's just that they haven't stayed healthy. That's the big thing for them. They haven't stayed healthy, and they haven't found that groove where they can take off, win 7, 8, 9 games in a row and feel real good about themselves. You just haven't had that moment.
Michael, it looks like the Niners may be getting healthy. You know, fingers crossed. Eli Mitchell should be back soon. Debo's going to be back soon. So now that they got Christian McCaffrey, they get those guys back. I mean, how much better do you expect the 49er offense to be the rest of the season?
Well, listen, man, I expect them to be much better the rest of the week, the rest of the season, headed on in as you work Christian McCaffrey in more and more. You know, I expect this team, boy, to take off and go to a new level. And that's what was so incredible, even about the game he had a couple weeks ago. Because it states, okay, look at what we got here. This is our talent. This is our guy. We got this kind of gift on our side. Let's do our part now. We got all the help we need. And I think, man, that's the role for them. They take off from here. No doubt they take off from there. So I can't wait to see what it's going to look like with Debo on the field, with Christian McCaffrey, and everybody ready to go.
You being in Germany for Seattle-Tampa raises the question of whether the Bucs have to win this game to stay even thinking about a deep run in the playoffs. Do you see it that way, or do you think they're just about to get right?
No, this game is the determining factor on all of that. I'm telling you, Ratto, and listen, it has to be that first quarter. That first quarter will tell you everything. Because think about this, and I know nobody talks about it, but let's just be real. Let's just talk about it. His divorce went final last Friday. You know what I'm saying? God bless the poor man. I don't know how he went through playing football with that going on. Y'all can stop playing. Y'all see people, you've seen people going through a divorce, and you see what it does. It rips them apart. It rips them apart. And they ain't even playing football. I don't know how the hell he was trying to play football with that going on. God bless him. God bless his family. Hopefully somewhere down the line they can get it back together. But for now, that piece is behind them. And then he comes out Sunday, and he has a game. And it wasn't going well. It wasn't going well at first. And then he has a patented game-winning drive. His 55th game-winning drive, most ever, the most by any quarterback in the history of this game. He takes sole possession of first place. He comes to that podium. He looked like a whole new dude. Now, this first quarter, guys, this first quarter right here in Germany will tell, because they want to say right now, okay, it's all behind us now. We got to move forward. If they have early early success, they'll ride that out, and it'll become their reality. That they now it is all behind them, and we're moving fast. We're going to do what we want to do now, and we're going where we want to go. But if they have early struggles, they'll start questioning themselves again. That's why it's so important. That first quarter will tell you everything. Are they going or are they not? You'll find out in those first few series.
Catching up with the playmaker, Michael Irvin. He's in Germany getting ready for Tampa Bay and Seattle. So how about those Seahawks, Michael? I know that you are solidly behind Geno for most improved player, but how do the Seahawks look like such a solid team when no one was expecting much this year?
Man, I mean, they look incredible. They look incredible. And I'm going to tell you, I say it now, you know, everybody says, oh, see what Pete Carroll did. He got rid of one of these quarterbacks and found him another one, and look how well they're doing. Trust me, Green Bay's looking at that because I've been saying they're trying to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. I'm just telling you. That's what, you know, that's what's going to happen. I also said Geno is playing incredible. And you know what? I was joking. I was having fun saying, but what I was saying I wasn't lying. And I said, for Geno, well, the greatest thing for Geno, and you see how he's playing now, is he got the hell away from New York. This man came to New York. He was drafted in New York. And in New York, you know how hard it is, man. Look how far he got away from New York. He went in Seattle. He got so far away from New York. Those people in New York, because they drag it. They drag it no matter where you go, what you do. You know, they're not trying to get some street meat in New York. Geno, you suck. We hate you, Geno. They'll let him know. In Seattle, he can throw 1 or 2 interceptions and then throw 3 touchdowns, and somehow they win the game. Geno, you're the greatest. We love you. And he's playing like he's getting that in the street. I mean, Geno is playing some incredible football. I mean, incredible football, incredible leadership. A couple weeks ago, Tyler Lockett dropped that ball. He came right back to him, threw that touchdown on that double pump, moved down the right sideline. I mean, he is playing incredible ball. It is surprising. I still got San Fran winning the division, and San Fran has already beaten them once, and you guys know, in the Rams twice. But Geno's playing some incredible ball, and you're going to have to beat him.
Is your body clock back to normal enough so that when that game is over, you'll be able to stay up to watch any of the others, or are you going to sleep through all of them?
No. Because the time difference, I'll be able to stay up and watch some games. I'm going to be able to stay up and watch some games, have some fun, and absolutely enjoy some games. It's just me getting out of here and getting back in time to try to do first take is a struggle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So which one are you going to watch, Colts, Raiders, or Cowboys, Packers?
I'm gonna try to watch both of them, all of them. I have iPads that I watch all games on, even when I'm traveling over. You know, you go up, I put an iPad here, and then my laptop and one on my phone is what I usually have. You know, so 4 devices. I'm watching 4 different games most of the time, all the time.
So, Michael, speaking of the Packers, a lot of people are down on Aaron Rodgers, and you've been defending him. Why are you coming out in defense of Aaron Rodgers right now?
Because it's not on Aaron Rodgers, man. This is on, this is on that front office. And that front office, and you cannot tell me that this is not a personal situation where I believe they're trying to, really, they can't wait till the end of this Aaron Rodgers era come, and I felt like this right at the end of the Brett Favre era, because the guy, he has so much control over the team. The last couple off seasons, we've been in limbo about what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, but they can't do anything until Aaron Rodgers tell them what they're going to do. Nobody wants that kind of control. We are dealing with control nuts. That's what these people are. All of them. They're control people. That's what they want. They want total control. I've had a coach tell me one time, Mike, we just think you got too much. We think you have too much control over the team. We want to start playing you less and sitting. I said, are you joking? You guys are tripping. We just won 3 Super Bowls and 4. And but that's how they are. That's how they are. That's what happened in Seattle when they didn't hand that ball off to Marshawn Lynch. They want it. They think that's control. They want to see They didn't want to be able to determine who gets the MVP in the Super Bowl. Football doesn't go like that. You can't make a predetermination. You got to go with what the game says. And right now, I believe there's something going on in hot Green Bay. How do you tell me you don't go get them some help? You don't tell me, well, they beat us for Claypool, and the Waller package cost too much. What, they want you to throw in another fifth rounder or fourth rounder or sixth rounder? Who cares? Aaron Rodgers ain't going to be around. And the guys you just drafted in the second round, in the third round, in the fourth round ain't working. So give up the fifth round and get them some help. That's all I'm saying. The reality is the reality.
In the last couple of weeks, there have been a ton of rumors about athletes and movie stars who want to buy into the Washington Commanders when they go up for sale. We've heard Kevin Durant. We've heard Matthew McConaughey. We just heard the owner of the Boston Red Sox. When's your name going in?
My name's not going in there. My name's not going in. And I'm going to tell you something. Everybody else, y'all get y'all name out of there. Everybody get your... I don't know. How y'all think y'all going to win this bid? Who think they going to win this bid? Let me tell you something. When you saw that first Thursday night game, and you saw that date night, they showed it on the first Thursday night game. They showed Roger Goodell and Jeff Bezos right there talking on date night. That was date night. What you think they talking about? Who you think go on that team? Stop playing, people. Let's stop playing. You going to outbid Jeff Bezos? Let's stop playing, man. Jeff Bezos going to get the team. And you know, in the NFL, whenever they bring you in there, because they don't want nobody leveraging these teams and leveraging these teams. So they go through your finances with a fine-tooth comb. You got to come, and the whole board, everybody goes through your finances with a fine-tooth comb. When Jeff Bezos comes in there, they're going to say, don't worry, we're not even going to check. You good. You just don't say you good. Ain't nobody else they going to say you good like this right here. You good, buddy. That was the date night, that Thursday night. That'll be Bezos'
And didn't you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And Aaron Rodgers may end his career in Washington, which I really don't like because I got to play Dallas. But that's where he may end his career.
That's what I was going to ask you. One more here for me. Justin Fields playing great lately. So is it fair? I know Trey Lance is hurt. There's nothing he can do. Is it fair to suggest maybe the 49ers took the wrong quarterback and maybe they'd be better off if they had Justin Fields right now?
No. It's too early to say that.
Okay.
But he is playing great. It's too early to say that. But he is playing great. Last Monday, I had so much fun with him. And I titled my playmakers, Keep It Spinning and Breaking Records. Keep it spinning and breaking records. Keep it spinning and breaking records. What I meant by that was I picked the three guys. Because, I always try to reach out to guys that are coming in the league. Especially if guys had any kind of challenge. On the field, off the field, whatever. Just to let them know that I'm a sounding board, man. If you need help, you want to talk about anything, I'm here, whatever. And I always try to do that. And I got a chance with Joe Mixon, got a chance with who really hadn't met Justin Fields. But all three of those guys had challenges on and off the field. And last week, all three of them set records. So I was just trying to encourage my brothers, and we're all looking, and we're proud of them, and I want them to keep it spinning and breaking records. Just keep doing it. Keep it spinning. Keep doing what you're doing and keep breaking records. A lot of people didn't give you this chance. Nobody thought Justin Fields could do what he did. Maybe the 178 yards, but not throw for 3 touchdowns like he did last week. So that was it's my way to try to encourage those young men to keep doing what they're doing, man. You guys always hear me talk about distance travel. They travel great distance, and we should all be proud of them.
Michael, before we let you go, how's the podcast coming? I understand you had Chris Olave on. You have another podcast dropping soon?
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, dude, it's so funny you said, man, that's great. And I didn't even tell you guys this, and we'll go back to back with that. That's great, because I talked about how encouraging I wanted to be those young dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And now today, I did a podcast today. I talked today with Ryan Leaf, though. Let me tell you something. I guarantee you don't want to miss it. This was one of those, let's talk about where we've been podcast with Ryan Leaf. And I asked him, I said, Ryan, I can go back on my life go over the mistakes I made, the bad decisions I made, man, and the dumb things I did. But I can also point to the one dude that I call my miracle on my journey. That dude that said, hey, we're going to get this right. We're going to do this, I'm going to be by your side. And I asked him, who was that dude for him? And he said, man, it was my cellmate. It was his cellmate. I mean, it's a deep story when you talk about his cellmate. Dude, you in prison. And he said this dude was really by bettering himself in this little room, this little wall, made him start understanding that, hey, in order to better yourself, you're doing it for other people. And he's just a whole different dude, man. We had a great conversation that you really don't want to miss. If you got any kid that have ever struggled or gone through anything or any situation, you make sure they listen to that podcast because that'll tell them a little bit about trying to work their way out of it.
That's incredible. Michael, thanks for your time. Have fun in Munich, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Yeah. This is interesting over here. I'm telling you, it's interesting. It's amazing. They had 3 million requests for tickets.
Wow.
You joking? 3 million requests for tickets. You think the NFL gonna leave all that money over here? You think they nowhere in the world? Them dudes know how to make money. They coming to get all that money. Them 3 million people that we only gonna get by 70,000 of them this time, but they coming back for them other 2.9 million people. I guarantee you, 2.99 million. They'll be back for them.
And that's why you need to buy into the Commanders.
Hey, I wish, but that Jeff Bezos team, and they're gonna be. Hey, watch when it happens. We're gonna come back on and talk about this. We're gonna have fun talking about it.
I'm up for it.
Thank you, Michael. Great stuff. Have
all
fun.
right, guys.
Yeah. The playmaker, maybe a little sleepy Ray, but my goodness.
Oh, yeah, he was exhausted.
A time change thing in Munich. I guess it can catch up with it. Doesn't sound like it caught up with him at all. This is Damon and Ratto, Whitey in for Damon. In just a moment here, we're going to have another great football guest. The great Trent Williams is going to join us, Ray. But I'm a little surprised that 3 million people in Munich requesting tickets to the Seahawks in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 3 million people?
I didn't realize you had to request tickets. I mean, I sort of thought that you had to come up with money and then they would give you tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So unless they're telling us that there is a 2.993 million waiting list for this game.
Time now, Ray, to journey inside the 49ers locker room. Inside the 49ers locker room brought to you by Harris Ranch Beef. Visit your local Rayleigh's, Bel Air, and Nob Hill markets for all your beef and tailgate needs. Bring in the beef now. The best tackle in the National Football League, the great Trent Williams. Trent, thank you so much for your time. How great is it for you physically to have a bye at this time of year, and how great was it for the team to be going into the bye with a win under your belts?
First off, thank you for having me as well. It's always a pleasure. But honestly, man, when I think of just over my career, I think one of the first things we do when you get the schedule is to locate the bye week. Because, it sucks to have the bye week within the first month and a half of the season. And then it also sucks to have it within the last month of the season. So when I seen it, I thought it was basically dead set in the middle. So I looked at that as a really good thing for us to take advantage of, because obviously when you get around week 9, week 10, a lot of bumps and bruises, everybody's dealing with it. So for us to be able to have our bye week then and be able to get a little bit healthier, and then also to follow your question up to go into the bye week after a big win, going down to Levi's South is what we call it, but to get a win versus the arch nemesis, a division foe. I think that was the icing on the cake.
If you had to pick one, though, would you rather have the bye near the end of the year or near the beginning of the year? If you couldn't have it where you want it, what's the less evil of the two other options?
Oh, definitely near the end. Definitely near the end. I mean, it sucks to have to go, 12, 13 games straight. But, like I said before, I think at the end of the year, towards the end is when you start to see that wear and tear, bumps and bruises, the guy's legs starting to get a little bogged down. So I would definitely rather have that 5-6 day window later in the year as opposed to earlier.
The great Trent Williams, our guest here on 95.7 The Game. And Trent, I wanted to ask you about blocking for Christian McCaffrey. Then I realized Christian McCaffrey could become here the first 49er back under Kyle Shanahan to rush for 1,000 yards. And I know he did, a lot of that with Carolina, but, he's going to rely on you guys here. What's the etiquette? I mean, if he rushes for 1,000 yards, doesn't he owe you and the boys at least, some kind of nice gift for helping him get to that number? Right? I mean, come on.
We'll leave that up to him and where his heart sits and how we want to do good for people. But honestly, our conversation comes from the top. Mr. York, every time we get our game day check, if that's not compensation enough to open some holes up, then I think we're in the wrong business.
Okay, all right. But what is it like blocking for him? Is it different as a tackle to block for different runners depending on their styles?
Honestly, no, sir. It isn't. That's a tall order for within that 30 seconds we get to get back to the huddle, get a play call, get back up to the line, make your call, and play again. And we had to look in the backfield and see who was back there to see if we're going to change the blocking style up any. So naturally, we don't really pay attention to who's back there, but. Just watching him always make the first guy miss, watch how he hits the holes and, watch just how dynamic he is and being able to see that first up close when he's not an opponent, that's an amazing thing to have. But, most of all, it's just actually watching a guy like that who, I've watched on ESPN highlights for the last few years and, he's always been regarded as one of the better backs in the NFL, but to actually have him and see him up close and personal, you kind of see why his reputation is what it is.
This is about the time of year. I mean, even though the trade deadline has expired, there's still a lot of talk about a free agent like Odell Beckham, wanting to sort of test the market again. Do you ever pay any attention to that just as a casual fan, or is that noise you don't need?
As a cat, I would be lying and say I don't. You don't see storylines and read them. As a casual fan, of course I do that. But at this time of the year, you're not really looking for any saviors to walk through the door. You kind of are who you are at this point. Obviously, you can always pick up people who can come in and make an immediate impact. But when it all boils down to it, once you get around this part of the year, it's all about your depth. How can you survive guys going down, next man up attitude, and like I said, trade deadline being gone is no blockbuster trades where you're going to get some type of Christian McCaffrey help again walking in the door, So for us, of course, if we can add anybody to this roster that can help us win, we're all for it. But, at the end of the day, we're not expecting it.
Trent Williams with us here on 95.7 The Game. The offensive line, the pass blocking's been excellent. Trent, you've been on it. You've led and anchored a lot of offensive lines, a lot of good offensive lines. How much more cohesive is the line now than you guys were at the beginning of the year with some moving parts? And how important is it for an offensive line to play together to learn to be more effective running the ball and passing, pass blocking?
Honestly, around this time of the year, I think you can see the cohesiveness starting to pay off. But we knew that it would take a little time. We had 2-3 new starters on the inside. 3 great players, but obviously they were new. So you got to get reps under your belt. But for offensive line, honestly, there is no room to hang your hat and say, "Hey, we're coming along with where we want to be." I mean, you literally get judged on each game Sunday by Sunday. That depends on what they're saying during the week. Are you a contender? Or are you going up the power rankings? Or are you down 4 spots from the week before? This league is such a week by week basis. So, for us, it isn't about, just getting that cohesiveness down and playing better. For us, it's a collective body of work that we want to put together that ultimately continues to build momentum to, till we get to where we want to be, and that's in the postseason.
In the last couple of weeks, and I suspect this might be a delicate question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. There have been a lot of rumors about athletes and movie stars being interested in buying into a piece of the Washington Commanders. Kevin Durant, Matthew McConaughey, now the owner of the Boston Red Sox. Did you spend even a minute envisioning what it would be like for you to get a piece of that?
I didn't think about it, but I'm glad you put it on my mind. Love to throw a couple quarters in, give me a little ownership of a team here and there. That'd be a dream. But obviously DC is a team with a huge market. I think that that team would be a really attractive investment for a lot of people. But if I was in on those conversations, I would definitely try to take advantage of it.
Trent Williams, our guest on 95.7 The Game. I know it's very important for athletes to look, week to week and don't get ahead of yourselves. But that said, have you given much thought yet to the week following? I mean, going to Mexico City. Are you excited at all about the trip to Mexico City?
Yeah, I'm excited just to go and experience, something new. Play on, never played in Mexico before, obviously. So, to experience something new, the NFL continue to, to travel and touch different people outside of this country. I think that's exciting. But, honestly, I hadn't even thought much about it. This Chargers team is, it's a headache to try to prepare for because, they find ways to win, and they got the bend but don't break style of defense, where it's really hard to get in the end zone, and they get really stiff around the red zone. So honestly, I know that the Mexico trip is coming up, but we've been honing in on this on these Charger cats for the last couple of days since we've been back, so I hadn't even had time to think about it.
What's prep like on a Sunday when your team is playing at 5:20 rather than 1 o'clock, or when you're in the East Coast 10 o'clock? What do you do with the early part of the day? Do you watch any football, or do you just keep your mind clear because you got work to do?
Oh no, I'm all football. I'm watching football from the minute I wake up to the minute they cut the TVs off in the locker room. Especially we get an early game, you got people playing, across the pond. You get to wake up and catch a 9:30 game and catch them at 10:30, then 1 o'clock. So for me, it's paradise, man. I love watching football. And that's what I like about being on the West Coast. You really get to watch the first slate of games before you even got to go line up. So every Sunday brings a different type of momentum, a different type of matchup, and to sit there and watch the league, and it kind of motivates you to want to go out and play better. You see a team that you think is really good, and they go out and lay an egg, it kind of wakes you up a little bit, like, hey, just because you got a better roster on me, you're going to get the win at the end of the day. And you see those sleeper teams that sneak up on people. I get motivation from watching those early games. So as soon as I wake up, I'm glued to the TV.
Trent, speaking of watching football, what have you seen from Khalil Mack on film that you would be willing to share with us in terms of how difficult this matchup could be?
Yeah, I mean, he's Khalil Mack. He's the reason why. I mean, the same reason why he's a household name. He's a dominant force on the edge. Can get after the quarterback, can get after the running back. He's a special player, always has been. So our work is definitely cut out for us. We know it won't be an easy outing. We know we got the world watching Sunday night. So, I'm looking forward to the matchup. It's always good to be able to go against a future Hall of Fame player. I think it brings out the best in everybody.
And there's a feeling among 49er fans now that it's all coming together. The Niners in great shape to make a second-half run, hopefully a deep one. Similar to last year, it seems like, wow, everything's fallen into place here. Do the players share that view? Does it at least feel like, wow, we're finally getting healthy right now?
Honestly, no. Honestly, like I said, it's a week-to-week type of deal. And, you go back and you go look at the headlines from 3 weeks ago from, after the Atlanta game or after the Kansas City game. I mean, we were we were an afterthought when it came to being a team that can contend. And then, we have a good week in LA, and now, everybody is saying that we can contend. We're now, the odds are going up and stuff like that. So it's like, if you just break it down and look at it from outside looking in, it's like, why would you even, why wouldn't you take it 1 week at a time? Because that's the way we're judged as a team, as a unit. You always judge as a 1 week at a time type of deals. What have you done for me lately? So, honestly, it's all about getting this win. It's making it, stacking it and getting another win and just building momentum, as opposed to thinking that we have arrived. I think we'll know where we're at in those, those late December, January games. And, I think that's when you kind of really start to hone in on who you are, what chances you have, and, where the season could go.
Last one, Trent. Trent Williams, our guest here. Earlier this season, as you know, George Kittle told the media that the players were arguing about who might win if you had the Silverback, you, against the Grizzly Bear, Nick Bosa. I'm just wondering what you would be willing to share with us about that question that your teammate George Kittle posed earlier in the year. The Grizzly against the Silverback, how do you think that would turn out, Trent?
We're talking about pure animals. I'm a big National Geographic guy, so I know the I know the tail of the tape when we talk about the size of a silverback and the size of a grizzly bear. So just not even getting past those measurements, I don't think it'd be very close. If we take a grizzly bear, it could be 1,200 pounds versus a silverback who probably 400 or 500 pounds. So, honestly, as much as I would want to say silverback, we know that's my spirit animal. That's who I kind of resonate with. But I think, if I'm going to go with my better judgment, I'd say grizzly bear.
All right.
Thank
you very much. By the way, Trent Williams, our friends at Harris Ranch Beef, giving you a 10-pound package of prime porterhouse steaks. How about that, sir?
Oh, yeah, I love that. I appreciate it. Tell them I said keep it coming.
All right. Thank you very much, Trent, for your time. We appreciate it. Good luck this week.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
The great Trent Williams on 95.7 The Game. Ray, week to week, baby. Taking it week to week. Coming up next on 95.7 The Game, a big-name media member has a big-name trade idea for the Warriors. We've got that for you next. This is Damon and Ratto, Whitey in for Damon, and we are presented by Fremont Bank, full-service banking, no compromises.
With energy bills as high as they are, proper weatherproofing is essential. If you're working with a client to upgrade or build a new home, be sure to visit Golden State. They partner with respected brands such as Owens Corning, James Hardie, and Boral Siding. They're a great option for a comfortable home with lower energy bills. Start at goldenstatelumber.com. Building better in the Bay Area since 1954. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Universal Studios Hollywood is where the holidays come together. We've tested it. Festive food with refreshing Coca-Cola. Family, friends, and fa la la. Dazzling lights cranked up to maximum merriment. The Grinch and his dog Max stealing your tree. All the science adds up. It's the awesomest celebration of the season. Save $20 on a Coca-Cola 2-day general admission ticket. Offer ends 12/14/22. Restrictions apply. Details at universalstudioshollywood.com/Coke offer.
O'Reilly. Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. Right now, get up to a $20 gift card after mailing rebate with the purchase of select Sylvania bulbs. Plus, get double O Rewards points with your purchase. Prepare for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, welcome to the IKEA Holiday Prep event, here to help you host the season with offers, in-store workshops, and more.
Oh, great. I may have invited the whole neighborhood for the holidays.
Don't worry, you can do this. To start, IKEA family members save 20% on Winterfint Christmas tree decor and gift wrap.
You are my hero.
Visit us in-store or at IKEA-USA.com/holiday prep to get ready and save. Offer valid 11/9 to 11/23/22. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. Restrictions apply.
At Harris Ranch, we do beef, just like we've done for over 50 years. Beef that's raised locally right here in California. Tender steaks, awesome burgers, and California classics like tri-tip roast. The flavor you crave, the quality you trust time after delicious time. Come on, it's time to get out and grill. Harris Ranch, we do beef. Legendary beef, legendary quality.
Someday, you might be with friends in the Bay Area, telling the story of how you navigated these complex times. The market was all over the place, so you reached out to a Merrill advisor, and with their help, charged ahead. And unlike your fishing stories, you won't have to go overboard. Find an advisor at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
Does your heart long to wander? To encounter colorful creatures from the deep blue sea? And amazing animals from the Amazon and beyond? Feed your wild heart. Travel the world. Right here in San Francisco. Make your reservation to the California Academy of Sciences at calacademy.org. Explore Wanderwoods, our new outdoor playscape, now open.
Score big with Xfinity Internet. It's made to do anything, so you can do anything. Supercharge your home with the game-changing speed of supersonic Wi-Fi. With 3 times more bandwidth, it covers the field and then some. And blocks billions of threats with advanced security that helps keep you protected at home and on the go. If you're keeping score, that's internet that does it all. That's unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas.
Hi, I'm Aaron, owner of California Deluxe Windows. Ever notice? When your neighbors get new windows, there is a large black eye of broken stucco, uneven plaster, and even mismatched paint. At California Deluxe Windows, we never leave a ring around the window. Why? Because we are one of the only companies in California who custom crafts every window and door to your home's exact measurements. Almost everyone else on the radio is a distributor. They grab a window from a warehouse, break open your walls, shove it in, and patch things up. At California Deluxe Windows, we take pride in our work. Our installation technique is so precise, we do not break your stucco. Your house could be covered with potato chips, and we wouldn't crack one.
Call now, and for a limited time, you get 30% off your entire order and 24 months of interest-free financing. 800-874-3600. 800-874-3600. That's 800-874-3600. California Deluxe Windows. Windows engineered for life.
Certain terms and conditions apply. CSLB number 774518.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code JOY at checkout. That's harrys.com, code JOY. Enjoy.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now back to Damon and Ratto on 95.7 The Game.
Whitey in for Damon today. Thank you for being with us. Thanks to the playmaker Michael Irvin for joining us from Munich. Thank you to the great Trent Williams for joining us. And Ray, it's been a lot of fun, and we got a lot of pizza left in the box here. And I know,
Where?
Well, I meant not literally. Sorry.
Well, then don't.
I mean, you haven't heard that phrase? Yeah. A lot of chicken left on the bone, not literally. We still have some time for fun left in the show. I should put it that way, Ray.
So when does the fun start?
The fun is well underway, but it is hard to have fun right now. I get your point. When the Warriors are struggling the way they are right now, it's not as much fun as last year's 18-2 start was. Remember that how, and maybe you don't watch all the games, but the Warriors got off to that terrific start last year, 18-2. Everybody was playing well. And now, you got Steph playing really well. A couple guys are playing okay, but it's just night and day from the start they got off to last year.
Well, what did they do last year that they're not doing this year?
Well, they had guys like Porter that was playing great, and they had Bielitsa had his moments. Gary Payton II was playing well. Even Iguodala. I'm not saying they need to do what they did last year. I'm just saying it'd be nice if they played better, more guys playing better. Iguodala played well last year, and they kind of took teams by surprise a little bit last year. It seemed like teams thought, wow, this was the play-in team last year, and now they're the Warriors again. And they're certainly getting everyone's attention so far this year to a degree they did not get early in the year.
That's too many words for the correct answer. Correct answer is last year they played defense. This year they do not.
That's true, too.
Last year they were third in defense.
Look at their defensive rebounding percentage last year. It was phenomenal. This year, well,
the rebounds, the amount of fouls committed. Their turnovers are down, and it doesn't make a difference. That's why when people rave about, they have too many turnovers. No, they don't. Mm-hmm. They're fine. That's a meaningless statistic for this team. Their problem is they can't keep the other team from scoring 30 in a quarter.
Yeah.
They can't keep the other team from scoring 120 a game.
Even teams like Orlando and Sacramento.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah. It's true. Last year they committed a lot of fouls. I think they committed the third most fouls in the league, but they still won the championship.
Well, this year they've sailed past that.
It's gotten worse
significantly
than it was last year. So it's easy to look at the Warriors right now and identify what the issues are. We're going to try here, Ray, the rest of the way to see if we can't come up with some solutions. I know trades, potentially, maybe a solution. We got a suggested trade by Stephen A. we'll get to in just a moment. First, this is Steve Kerr today. Steve Kerr was asked if, maybe, the starter's playing so well, the bench not playing well. Do you take a starter out of the starting lineup, putting him with the bench, Steve? Is that something you try?
We're throwing all that stuff into the hopper right now, and there's a lot of different thoughts as to what we could do or what we should do. You could make the same case for JK or, Wise. You say, well, if we play them with this group, that'll make the game easier. And maybe that gets this person going. Maybe that gets that person going. But you also have a starting group that has the best 5-man net rating in the league. I think they're still at the top. If not, they're right near the top. So there's no clear answer, as to how to best try to get guys going. But I'm always a believer that a team finds its way as long as everybody commits and competes together, and that'll happen with us. We've got too good of a team. Our guys are high character guys. We'll find our way. But that's going to include more, experimentation from us as a staff and players just, having to commit to each other and see where it all goes.
I understand why the Warriors don't want to break up that unit that, as you pointed out, Ray, the starting five together as a unit, they're one of the best units in the NBA so far, but they may have to. If that drop-off to the bench continues, that might be the next thing they're going to have to try, even though it's something they don't want to do, which again speaks to it's almost desperation right now in terms of Steve Kerr and his staff trying to find the answers.
Well, that's why when everybody gets up in arms about Kuminga's not getting enough minutes or Wiseman's not getting enough minutes, and why are you playing Ty Jerome and why are you playing Anthony Lamb? The answer is simple. They're looking for something that will work. And the alchemy of coaching on this team has always been under the illusion
that... Team does alchemy coach? I don't know what team he coaches.
I'm going to squeeze your head till the sap runs out.
Go ahead. I withdraw the comment. Continue.
No, you don't. You enjoy alchemy, those.
I don't
you
know
enjoy those little moments. No, it's normally fans here are used to a coaching staff that has a pretty set rotation because everybody knows what their role is and everybody knows how long they're going to play and when they're going to play and what they need to do when they play. This is that rare Warrior team that believes it can contend, but has a lot of guys who don't know what they're supposed to do. or what they're going to be asked to do game in or game out.
It's a great point. Draymond said after the Orlando loss, I think it was, he said, normally by now we have our rotations figured out. And he said, this is, to the point you made, very, very unusual. You also just asked about, hey, Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb, why are they playing so much? And Steve Kerr addressed that today as well.
The thought process is, when you're struggling and you don't have a rhythm and you don't have consistency, veteran players are going to be able to provide that more than young players are. And so, Ty and Anthony are both, relatively young, but 4-year college players. They've learned a lot more. They've absorbed a lot more than our younger guys. And so they're more capable of allowing different groups to click, defending without fouling. You've seen, Lamb, you just watched Lamb, every defensive play on the interior, he's here instead of in here. And so as we're trying to clean up our defense, it's Ty, same thing. He defends without fouling. He doesn't turn the ball over. Those are crucial things when our margin for error is really slim.
That gets us right to the heart of the matter. For a team that plays such a, what's the word? I hate the term basketball IQ. I don't use that. But for a team that plays such a, I don't know, in some ways a complex system, Ray, where players have more freedom, you wonder why they went out and drafted guys as highly as they did, 2 guys that didn't have much basketball experience. And obviously they were hoping, they'll figure it out. But here we are with guys like Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb, and you can plug them in and they can play. They understand what you're doing in a way that, Kuminga and Wiseman right now, because they just haven't played enough, they just don't understand how to play the Warrior way. So why did they draft them?
Because they thought they would by now. That's why. They thought that their athleticism and what they believed was their desire to be better, their intelligence. I think they believe they're both bright players, but they haven't gotten it yet. But that they drafted them on the come because they thought they'd have this figured out by now. That's why.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just dead ass wrong.
To me, that basketball players, they play a certain way and they can learn to adjust and play different ways. But to me, there's the way the Warriors play and the way Kuminga plays and the way Wiseman plays. And it's not that they don't get it or they're not smart enough. They just don't play that way. That's not the natural way they play. And you can understand why maybe there's a little resistance there on their part. That's not me. So that's going to be something definitely to keep an eye on going forward. Hopefully they can salvage that. I don't know that they can, but here is an idea from Stephen A. Smith. If you can't salvage that, then at some point, we're not there yet, maybe trade deadline, the Warriors have to look at maybe a deal. Not to just dump those guys. As Ray said earlier, you don't want to just get rid of them, but you may need something back if you want this expensive veteran team to have a chance at winning this year. You may be forced to make that kind of move. This is Stephen A., okay? I'm warning you, Ray. It's just a suggestion. Again, not a rumor, a suggestion. What do you think is Stephen A.'s idea for a Warrior big-name trade?
If I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, I might pick up the phone and call Bob Myers and Joe Lacob and say, Anthony Davis, give me Klay Thompson and Draymond. They're not looking to pay everybody. They're not looking to pay everybody.
You know what? I'm glad you did that proposal, because I was literally standing here thinking, Anthony Davis can't stay healthy, but Anthony Davis is actually balling this year. He's the only one player in the league averaging 20, 10, and 2 blocks. You're not going to get real value in return. And to your deal, I would send you the voicemail, because I am not trading Anthony Davis for Draymond Green and Klay Thompson.
I would do it. If you're Bob Myers, and I want activity, Stephen A. guys that I know gonna play. You can make that phone call, and I would make the phone call. Right. But if I'm Bob Myers, I'm politely declining. And he's saying he wouldn't make the phone call. I think I would. You see the difference? But it's debatable. It's debatable. One of the prolific shooters and an energizer bunny who holds people accountable. Yes, I think about that.
All right, maybe you saw that today. That's ESPN, that audio courtesy of ESPN. That's Stephen A.'s suggestion. You also heard Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose in there. What do you make of that, Ray? That's one of the dumbest things I think I've ever heard in my life.
It's not one of the dumbest things you've ever heard, but it is too much of a stretch for any number of reasons.
This is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, but go ahead.
I refuse to believe that. I believe you heard dumber things on the drive into the station today.
Did not.
You were listening to the station, right?
I was.
So the chances are you heard a thing that was dumber than that.
Just taking shots at everybody.
I'm not. I'm a bitter man. I mean, I'm right now. I'm 40 minutes away from freedom, and the clock is working backwards. No, it's thinking outside the box to break up a logjam, but it creates two different problems for the Warriors and solves none. Anthony Davis is not a great defender and doesn't seem to want to be a great defender. Draymond Green is a great defender. And if your problem is defense, you're not doing that deal even with Klay Thompson. The second thing is emotional. It's going to take a lot for the Warriors to get rid of Klay Thompson because it's almost a chemical romance as much as it isn't anything else. Klay Thompson is as much a part of this franchise in his own way as Stephen Curry is. And for the Lakers, to get rid of your second best player for two guys with injury histories in their early to mid-30s, that doesn't get them younger. It gets them older at a time when they're already, struggling with trying to get younger. I mean, they're younger than they were last year, but, I think that's just shuffling deck chairs. And I think the Lakers would think they would be poorer without Davis, and the Warriors, I think, would believe they'd be poorer without Green and Thompson.
You got a lot of guys that have injury issues right now in that trade. A lot, just about everybody. But for the Warriors, again, I think that comment is blind to the fact that the Warriors have proven they don't need Anthony Davis in the middle. James Wiseman, we don't need you to be a superstar center. We need Kevon Looney. We need a Zaza Pachulia. We need somebody that can hold things down defensively and rebound and screen. And then we're not going to have our center on the floor at times if things go the way we want when we're making our run anyway, because we're going to go small. And I don't know why people can't understand that about the Warrior approach. 888-957-9570. George in San Francisco has a solution for the second unit on 95.7 The Game. George, we're looking for solutions here. What do you got?
Okay, all right. Back in the day, back in the Billy Cannon era at LSU, the LSU had a second unit called the Chinese Bandits. They came into the game as a unit, they played as a unit, and they came out as a unit, and they spelled the starters. In the last 2 years, the Warriors have benched their starters and put basically the second unit out to defend the Warriors. And both times, the second string has done very well. I believe they won a game in San Antonio last year, if I'm not mistaken, and they looked very good this year in New Orleans. That game was competitive into the fourth quarter. This was Kuminga, this was Wiseman, this was Poole, this was basically the second unit. And you are not going to win a championship this year until Kuminga and Wiseman are playing at a championship level. So my idea is to put them in this form as a unit and play them as a unit and let them get to know each other, let them develop a chemistry together, and let them keep the game as close as they can until the starters can come back in. This way they get minutes. They don't have to worry about mixing and matching and, working in with Klay and everybody else. They can develop their own chemistry and their own style.
Thank you, George, for the call. Yeah, appreciate that. And you're right, by the way, before we get any further, George is right. He's talking about last year. This was last season, though. You had different players. They won at San Antonio when Steph was out and Draymond was out. They won at Detroit when Steph was out and Draymond was out. Poole and Wiggins had huge games, and they won at Miami. But you can't do that with this team.
Well, not only can you not do it with this team, it's not practical with any team just because, rotations are what they are. Foul trouble is what it is. And the other thing is the second unit as a group
is terrible. You get killed if you do that.
Yes, I guess you do. Now, the difference between them and the starters is so stark. They don't hold leads. They don't keep you close. They get you boxed. They get you crushed. I mean, the Kings, who are
Sacramento
a subordinary
Kings.
team.
We're on in Sacramento. Kings and Cavs tonight, Ray. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. What's your Kings note?
No. The Kings were a better team at every place on the floor except Warriors point guard. If Stephen Curry only shoots his average for the game, they lose by 12. I mean, that tells you what the deficiency is the second unit is a massive bring down every night, or damn near every night. So putting them all together and keeping them together seems like making a bad situation worse.
Yeah.
What they need is for Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman, just of those, the three young guys, and Poole, since he's part of the second unit, to figure out how to do the stuff that Steve Kerr wants them to do, or come closer than they have. I mean, that's the only solution. And keeping them together until they do means you're going to ask your starters to play 38, 39 minutes per game at a time in their careers when they should be playing 32 or 33 minutes. It's a suicide march. And that's the absolute antithesis of what they should be doing.
I don't think they'd be averse to it if there was any reason to think it would work, but you can go, you look it up at basketballreference.com. I won't bore you with the details, but you can look this up, basketballreference.com, Golden State Warriors, scroll down, regular season 5-man combinations, and just look at how underwater some of these combinations are when they go to the bench. Like, just for example, Green, not Draymond, the other Green, Ty Jerome, Moses Moody, Jordan Poole, James Wiseman. They've spent 9 minutes, 40 seconds together. Points, minus 61.9. I mean, you just go up and down the list and you look at what's happened when bench players have played together without any starters. They're getting killed. I think they would like to try that to alleviate some of the stress on the starters because it's just not sustainable. They just can't do it. Kuminga, Moody, Poole, Clay, and Wiseman, minus 16.7. Just on and on. So that, yeah, it sounds like, oh, these guys got to play together. And we've been around and around on this, Ray. The idea that Kuminga and Wiseman, they have to play, and they have to play together. They can't. They just don't function as a unit well enough to allow this team to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
head caved in.
Yeah, no, it's the proof is not just in the metrics; it's in the eye test.
Yeah,
and there's nothing about the second unit that says, "Boy, they're on the verge." They have to get themselves to the verge, because when the Warriors win, it's because the second unit has held serve on a game in which the starters have given them a lead.
Strength in numbers does not apply this year so far.
Not yet. I mean, but that's what has to happen. And it might just be a matter of Steve Kerr continuing to fiddle with the second unit and the way he uses it until the point where something clicks. Because if it doesn't click, they're a play-in team. That's the difference. Their second unit right now is playing at a rate where they'd struggle to be a ninth-place team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, I have to remind myself that last year, you look at Boston, they struggled into January, and then whoosh. So you do have time to figure it out, especially a veteran team. Speaking of the bench, a lot of people have noticed and have commented on the lack of enthusiasm from the bench. I've had that discussion with people. Why is it that the guys that aren't in the game, when they're on the bench, they don't get excited when the guys on the floor do something? Steve Kerr was asked about that today. Here's Steve Kerr's answer today to a question about how come the guys on the bench don't seem more animated.
We're still trying to find ourselves as a team. We've been, losing. We're obviously, 4-7, not where we want to be. The young guys are trying to find their way. We're trying to find our way with our combinations. So we haven't found the momentum that we're looking for. And a little bit of the chicken and the egg conversation here. You generally, see more energy and more joy when a team's winning. But on the other hand, if you can bring that, it tends to lead to winning as well.
I think, Ray, there may be some kind of fracture between the veterans and the youngsters. And I don't mean openly like open animosity, but they're just, as a team, there seems to be some resentment both ways maybe. I don't know, but they don't look like a team. You compare that to last year, you can just close your eyes and see JTA and Damian Lee going nuts on the bench when the team scored. At the very least, everyone understood their roles better and was more accepting of, all right, we're going to cheer the guys on now. So maybe Steve Kerr is right. That's one of the things that falls into place once they get the rest of this sorted out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's hoping for anyway. I mean, the thing is, the Warriors, and I made this point before, always knew what they had. This team, they only know half of what they have. And the other half is a complete mystery.
Yeah.
And I think the Warriors are a great front-running team in which when they understand what every player is expected to do and how much they deliver, life is easy. This isn't easy because a lot of guys aren't delivering the things that the Warriors are used to getting as a function of their employment.
Right now in our palatial studios, we have monitors every sporting event in the world is on one of the monitors we have all over the walls here. We happen to have the two in front of us here. We have the Pacers playing Denver, and we have Brooklyn playing the Knicks. So anything you see there, Ray, or have seen, I know you're working, you're not just enjoying the games. Anything the Pacers have is Miles Turner taking the ball, the basket all the way inside, puts it up, doesn't go, but it'll go to the line. He was fouled by Jokic.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Do you like Miles Turner? You think maybe he's a fit? Should the Warriors be talking to Indiana? Should they be maybe seeing if they can work anything out with the Nets for Durant still? I don't know. What do you think, Ray?
Stop it. Durant is not on the table. Just don't even bring it up again. And if you do, I will chastise you.
It's hard not to just because of his history here and because he had asked for a trade. But you're right.
Why don't you see if they could get Rick Barry back if you were going to worry about history?
Rick Barry's not currently playing, although he was on the Nets at one time. I see where you're going.
Yeah,
well
exactly.
played. Yeah,
that's exactly where I was going.
Good call.
God.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Durant did his time here. He's doing something else now, and I don't think he has any interest in coming back any more than the Warriors have of him coming back.
How serious do you think it got, or how close to being serious did it get during the summer after Durant had that standing trade demand? There've been I'm just asking to guess, or maybe you have some inside information.
I don't think the Warriors were interested.
Okay, because supposedly they had real discussions about it.
Oh, they discuss everything.
Okay,
I mean they're stuck in that office, all day, every day.
What do you want to do? Let's discuss Kevin Durant.
Well, no,
maybe it's that way.
No, I mean that's how you brainstorm stuff.
Yeah,
but no, I don't think they ever had any interest. Plus, Brooklyn had no interest in letting Durant go anywhere, let alone Golden State. So that was dead before arrival. That wasn't happening.
There would be a certain symmetry to it, and you're right. Right now, it would be so complicated, especially now that you can't trade Wiggins.
You live in a fantasy world.
No, but I mean, last year they proved they could win without Durant, and then to say, okay, now we need you back to win another one. That would be fascinating, but it seems very, very far fetched. What about Miles Turner and Buddy Hield? The Pacers supposedly shopping them, but they, at least we think, they want a lot of draft capital for that.
Yeah,
package.
And what do the Warriors not have? Draft capital.
Uh-huh.
I mean, unless you want to count, Wiseman and or Kuminga as draftable players rather than players already in the league. And even at that, Miami can get a better haul than either of them in a draft pick. Because neither of them have done anything yet. They're all just, maybe. Maybes don't get those deals done. So, no, I don't see either of those things being plausible at the moment.
Speaking of acquisitions, reports / rumors, we have this, Ray. Of course, we talked about this earlier. The fact that tomorrow here on 95.7 The Game, Mark Willard and Dan Dibley will be doing their program from Linden, California, hometown of Aaron Judge, in an effort to secure his services for the San Francisco Giants. Can't hurt, right? Well, it probably could. Hopefully, hopefully it won't.
I firmly believe that they will get there. They'll do their show, and then they will be escorted to the city limits by the sheriff.
All right,
and they'll be told, "Don't come here again."
They won't take him to the Who's Cow. They'll be.
No, they just want him out of town.
Okay. This is from, thank you, Lucas, for pointing this out. This is from Alden Gonzalez on Twitter. Giants head of baseball ops, Farhan Zaidi, prominently linked to Aaron Judge. Quote, Ray, I have a quote. Farhan Zaidi, I think from a financial standpoint, there's nobody that would be out of our capability, and then it'll just be a question of whether there's mutual interest, end quote. We were talking earlier about, do they want to spend the money? Farhan says, from a financial standpoint, there's nobody that would be out of our capability. I'm telling you, whether they're going to land Judge or not, from what Farhan's saying and what the Giants are saying, they're certainly raising the level of fan expectations. And if they don't come through, I hate to think where fans are going to be with this team.
Oh, they'll be at home.
They'll be very upset. They're already upset after last year and after last offseason. And after seeing Soto go to the San Diego Padres. The
Padres?
Giants, that's what Ted Williams used to call them. I played for the San Diego Padres. So anyway.
You channel guys who have been dead for 30 years.
It's my tribute
and
to...
no longer have their own heads.
Yeah, the great Ted Williams. Anyway, with Farhan saying that, I mean, he could easily say, hey, we think we'll be competitive. We're going to do everything we can do. But he's going a little beyond that.
But you know what?
He must be confident.
He could be confident all he wants, but when he has to walk up to Greg Johnson's office and say, I'm going to need $90 million a year for the next 5 years or more just because I want Trey Turner and I want Aaron Judge.
Trey Turner's not coming here.
I'm using him as an example and stop being pissy about it.
Use a better example. Trey Turner is not a left coast guy. We'll see. Maybe you're right. Can we go Carlos Correa instead?
Fine, Carlos Correa.
Very good.
Happy now?
Yeah, I am. Don't you think, though, that he's probably had those discussions already? It's not going to be, I'm going to tell everybody I'm going to get Aaron Judge. Gee, I should have checked with ownership before I did that. Womp womp.
Because the conversation is conceptual now. When they start to talk and Judge's people say, yeah, it's going to take, we want 7 years and we want $350 million, and we want $350 million. That's it. You're going to pay us $50 million a year. And then you got to double back on Carlos Correa, who's going to ask for $35 million a year. That's $85 million a year that the Giants aren't spending now.
Somebody double check his math, make sure he's right, but okay. Yeah, but
you're in a cranky mood today.
No, I think it's important to be accurate. Farhan just
50 plus 35
for the Giants, given where they were last year and how disappointing that was. You and I have been around the Giants a long time, and that was one of the most disappointing Giants seasons I've ever seen. And I know they had dreadful seasons, but back then people weren't. It's like, oh yeah, the Giants are terrible. 85 years like that. Mid 70s? They struggled. But last year, middle of the season, people were upset about the Giants in a way I haven't seen in a long time. Given that, and given attendance declining, for Farhan to come out and express the confidence that he's expressing today, apparently, he's got to have a lot of confidence and a good idea that we could pull this off. Otherwise, there's just no reason to do that. It's too risky.
No, but if he comes out and says, oh, we're not going to spend that much money, that's a downer right there.
Right, but you can, and these guys are brilliant at this, you can couch it. Like last year with Gosman.
He just did couch it.
Did he?
Did he say, we are absolutely going to spend this money? No. He said, we're confident.
There's nobody that would be out of our capability. And then it'll just be a question of whether there's mutual interest. In other words, it ain't going to be because we're not paying enough.
My ass. They're not going to be paying enough. Certainly not for Judge. They're not going to lay out that kind of money.
But that's what my point, maybe you're right. That's what he said. Why is he saying that?
Why does he say that? Because saying anything else is depressing. And if you get caught in a lie on something like this, so what? People get angry.
Not as depressing as it would be if, guess what? We didn't get Aaron Judge, just like we didn't get Ohtani, and we didn't get Soto last year. We didn't get Bryce Harper. I mean, people are getting upset about this.
Well,
that's why this particular issue with Aaron Judge is so important to the credibility of the franchise.
If they really thought that fan anger mattered, they'd have spent more money on Harper. and just said, we'll give you whatever you want. We'll give you $40 million. We'll give you $45 million.
Fans weren't as angry then as you know because they had recently won. And now it's to the point where, wow, people are not coming to the games. The Dodgers and the Padres are doing all this. Wow, we have to do something.
And yet they're still making money every year. So the question becomes, what's more important to Greg and Charlie Johnson? Is it to make sure that their profit margins are still high? Or is it important to win baseball games? And I think the way the payroll has gone the last several years indicates to me pretty strongly that it's money that matters to those two guys, and they're the decision makers, not Farhan. Farhan can say whatever he wants, but he has a budget like every other general manager, and if that budget says we are not spending another $90 million on 2 baseball players, then whatever he says doesn't matter.
But it wouldn't be prudent for him to say those things if he knew and he's a smart guy. It is. That's a big part of this.
But they'd rather look disingenuous than spend that money, I think.
Gausman last year, you knew early on they were not going to sign Gausman from the way that Farhan phrased it. And maybe some of that was about, finances. I think they should have. But you knew it's like, okay, they're not going to pursue him. And I'm not getting that vibe, and it would be easy. You could say, Judge is, or just, guys that are that old, they don't, they end up not being a very good value. And then not say anything about Judge. You could easily do that, but instead you're ratcheting up expectations. And I don't think you do that if you don't already have the go-ahead from ownership. Maybe I'm wrong, but otherwise there's no reason to do it.
But the reason to say, no, we're not thinking that way is far more damaging.
No, it absolutely
is. It absolutely is.
Far more damaging is if you end up coming in second again.
No, far more damaging is if you come out early on and say, we can't afford that guy.
You couch it. There's a better way to say it.
Well, the point is,
go ahead. Sorry.
If the master plan is we're not going to spend $90 million on 2 guys, that the last thing you do is say that you're not going to do that.
You say it, just not that way.
No, you don't.
You talk about, you know what, we've got so-and-so in right field next year. He's going to be great. Or we have, we're not willing to mortgage the future of this franchise on aging players. You let people know.
Aaron Judge is not an aging player. They can't sell that one.
Well, he will be by the end of the contract. Presumably.
Oh, okay. So we can't afford a guy 5 years in the future, is what you're saying.
All I'm saying is if you're not interested, you let people know without saying, we don't.
You absolutely don't.
You have to now.
No, you lead people along. And then you just say, we were in there right till the end, because that's what they've done before. Even when they weren't in there till the end.
You're right, and that's why I think they can't afford to do it again.
Oh, they'll keep doing it. Mm-hmm. They'll absolutely keep doing it, because it's, they'll be more comfortable going, we were right in there, and then just somebody beat us at the end.
How do you think Boch is going to do in Texas? We had Boch on last Friday. I was in with Dibs. I was in for
He's going to get his brains beat out for 2 or 3 years.
For a 60-whatever win team, they've got a little bit of talent, right? They
got a little bit of talent, but their pitching is a nightmare, and their bullpen is shambolic. So if Ray Davis is willing to start laying out some real money for pitching, as well as for hitters,
you surprised Boch is back in it? I'm surprised. Texas, but
I'm surprised that Texas wanted him, because their last regime, which is John Daniels running the baseball operation, was very analytics heavy and very top down. Bruce Bochy must have gotten assurances from Chris Young, the former pitcher who's now their general manager.
Who called him. That's Boch says, yeah, C-Wad called me up. That's why I'm there.
And he must have made it clear to Boch that, no, you get to run the dugout, because he wouldn't take the job otherwise. His need to manage a baseball team is not so great that he would accept phone calls during a game about, hey, get that guy down, get that guy up, warm, get him hot, or take that pitcher out because he's reached 64 pitches. Bruce Bochy won't operate that way. So he must have gotten assurances. And given where Texas is, it's going to take 3 years to fix that. And he's at an age where now you're talking 72, 73, 74 years old. And with all due respect to Dusty Baker, the trend had always been to go get younger managers.
Can you believe Dusty and Boch are in the same division? They'll be going
in the same state.
Yeah.
No, I mean, one of the things that happened last year that nobody really noticed was that some teams were going counterintuitive and getting the veteran manager who was pushing 65 or 70, and just said, yeah, you can run the dugout. Like Showalter, Tito Francona in Cleveland is still one of those guys. And so the army of general managers' puppets managing baseball teams is shrinking a little bit, I think in part because people are looking for that, that market inefficiency. And now the new market inefficiency, I think, is for managers that in exchange for their independence will give you wins.
Coming up next year on 95.7 The Game, we have Steve Kerr's solution to fan load management woes. Does it really make sense? That's next year. Damon and Ratto, Whitey in for Damon, and we are sponsored by Outdoor Supply Hardware.
This Veterans Day, Osh is giving 20% off to retired and active military service members. Visit Osh November 11th through 13th and receive 20% off with ID. This discount is on top of Osh's end-of-season sale. Visit 14 Osh locations. Osh, neighbors helping neighbors.
The Morning Roast is preparing for Judgment Day.
A walk-off home run to win the game. A Judgy and blast.
They want to hear your pitch to Aaron Judge on why he should come to the Giants.
Is Aaron Judge willing to do that? Can you sell Aaron Judge on that? That's the key.
It's your turn to pitch to Aaron Judge.
That ball is high. That is far. That is gone.
Tomorrow on The Morning Roast.
This is your time to cash in at Cash Creek Casino Resort. To rock and to roll over the hills and bluffs. Go all out or go all in. With 4 stars and rising stars, now we do more than ever, so you can do as much or as little as you want. It's your time to cash in at Cash Creek Casino Resort.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Hi, welcome to the IKEA Holiday Prep event. Here to help you host the season with offers, in-store workshops, and more.
Oh, great. I may have invited the whole neighborhood for the holidays.
Don't worry, you can do this. To start, IKEA family members save 20% on Venturfent Christmas tree decor and gift wrap.
You are my hero.
Visit us in-store or at IKEA-USA.com/holiday prep to get ready and save. Offer valid 11/9 to 11/23/22. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. Restrictions apply.
Bear Robotics makes robots for restaurants. Automated servers to do the heavy lifting. But get this, our office, it wasn't automated. Paper invoices going in and out, getting lost. We don't do that anymore. Now we've got Bill. It automates our finances the way we automate restaurants. With Bill tracking our invoices and planning payments, we can focus on growing. The old way, not going back there.
Automate your finances with Bill. Learn more at Bill.com.
No one knows where this market will go. Things could change tomorrow, next week, or next month. At Merrill, we've been here before, and history shows this is the time to stay focused on your future. Because through every market, the bull will always have your back. Find an advisor in the Bay Area at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
UCSF Sports Medicine Center is dedicated to treating every type of athlete, from kids to adults, amateurs to elite professionals. As one of the best orthopedic programs in the nation, UCSF has programs to optimize an athlete's performance and the latest advancements to treat the most complex sports injuries. With locations throughout the Bay Area, now including Marin, Walnut Creek, and Redwood Shores, it's even easier to make an appointment today. Visit ucsfhealth.org so you can get cleared to play. UCSF Health, redefining possible.
Why wait to save? Dell Technologies Black Friday event arrives early with select deals on top tech to power business productivity. The savings start now with up to 48% off performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
At Target, you can shop with confidence knowing that if you spot a better Target price, we'll match it with our Holiday Price Match Guarantee. Pick up the hottest gifts of the season, holiday hosting essentials, and so much more right now. If you spot a better Target price, we'll match it on items purchased between October 6th and December 24th. Get the gifts you want at prices you love all season long with Target's Holiday Price Match Guarantee. Get price match policy details on Target.com. Some exclusions apply.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Here's what happened today on The Game. Presented by the County of Santa Clara. The Morning Roast from 6 to 9.
Just because you're wealthy or born into wealth doesn't give you emotional intelligence. It doesn't give you social awareness.
Willard and Dibbs from 9 to noon.
Hey, Golden State Warriors. If this isn't going right, are you going to do everything in your power to make sure this season goes right?
Steiny and Guru from noon to 3.
There it is. There's only one avenue, it seems like. You got to start winning. I get what you're saying, but in order to win, they got to play better defense.
And Damon and Ratto from 3 to 6.
Kevon Looney is a more valued piece to the Warriors now than he was when he was young, because he still does all the things Steve Kerr wants him to do.
The best of the game, presented by the County of Santa Clara. Book a COVID-19 booster shot now at sccfreevax.org or call 211. Now back to Damon and Ratto on 95.7 The Game.
In for Damon, Kevin Michael, Whitey Gleason. The NBA back in action tonight, Ray, and isn't it wonderful after no games last night for Election Day? That's great. I appreciate that. But the night before when everybody played, it was great, wasn't it? Except then, of course, you know, it's hard to find decent officials for all the games when you have 15 games. Maybe we had some questionable calls, whatever. But wasn't that a great night? And isn't it great to have the NBA back tonight?
You're way too enthusiastic for that.
It was a lot of fun. It's like, which games you watch? Every game, you have another game.
How many games did you watch?
Well, I watched parts of probably about 5 or 6, I think.
Okay, so there were 9 games that you didn't care about at all.
Well, no, once the Warriors started, it was like I was focused on that one. So I watched a little bit before that. So then actually you didn't care about 14 other games. If the Warriors had been the only game on that night, you'd have been satisfied. I'm not sure what the answer is there.
The answer is yes.
Glad to have a lot of basketball on to watch. I enjoyed it.
And yet you watched almost none of it. You watched one game and bits of a couple of others.
Watched close to none of it. I don't think that's true. But anyway, the Warriors back in action tomorrow night, right? They'll see if they can.
Friday night.
Friday, thank you. Sorry about that.
I made
Thank
that
you, Mark
mistake
Randall.
yesterday when I thought that Cleveland was playing the Warriors when in fact they are playing the Kings.
Gotcha. Yeah, Cleveland and
Kings, who,
Sacramento
by the way,
tonight.
still have a better record than the Warriors.
Yeah, I know. That didn't make Warrior fans feel much better, did it? The fact that the Warriors come off the road trip, you got Sacramento. I was like, oh my goodness, barely beat that team.
They barely beat that team because Stephen Curry scored half 100.
Did they beat that team because Klay Thompson wasn't called for a foul at the end of the game? 2-minute report said that was a foul, and so did former Warrior assistant, current Kings coach Mike Brown.
It's tough being a Sacramento King, I think, because Kevin got fouled. I know there are missed calls throughout the course of the game, missed calls on us, missed calls on our opponent. I just want, at the end of the game, somebody to step up and make the right call. And a guy gets hit on the arm shooting a 3, it's a foul. A guy takes 6 steps or 3-4 steps, it's a travel. And we just want an opportunity to win in overtime. But I just like in the Miami game, I asked the ref if it was a foul. He said no, it's clearly a foul. And again, like I said, I feel bad because our guys fought and they didn't get an opportunity in overtime. But that's part of it. But to have 2 games like that on the road where the whistle is swallowed and then there's a missed call, that's tough, man. That's tough for my guys in the locker room because they're fighting their behind off.
Yeah, he's referencing a game in Miami last week where Tyler Hero hit a game-winning shot and the officials didn't call it travel. I saw that game. I didn't see the travel at the time. Afterwards, Layer's like, oh, yeah, okay, he traveled. But the one at Klay not getting called, that was the Warriors got a huge break there because not only did Klay foul Kevin Huerter, he fouled him at least twice and maybe 3 times.
Well, rank has its privileges and always has in the NBA. And so Mike Brown is not wrong when he says it's hard being a Sacramento King. The only way to stop being a Sacramento King is to stop playing like the Sacramento Kings. When you become a playoff team, you start getting A, better officials, and B, better officials who aren't looking to go home.
Do you think that does any good? It probably, it doesn't hurt. Maybe it's in the mind of an official at the end of the game. It probably is neither here nor there that he said that. I think Kings fans appreciate the effort.
No, I think what it is there is an assumption that when a good defender is playing up against a guy who he's okay, but he's nothing special, the benefit of the doubt will go to the better player. And that's true in all parts of the court. So, I get what Mike Brown is saying. That said, you were ahead most of the game. Don't put yourself in that position. Stop being the Kings.
By the way, you got Steve Kerr tomorrow, right? Steve Kerr coming on tomorrow.
Unless he gets a better offer, which wouldn't be hard.
Steve Kerr said something really interesting Friday, and this, I believe, was before the game. That was the Friday game against New Orleans when the Warriors played. They played guys that haven't played much, and they were competitive. But before the game, Steve Kerr apologized to fans because there were some fans in New Orleans at the old Smoothie King Center, Ray, who were hoping to see, hey, we get to see Draymond, we get to see Klay, we get to see Steph, freak Curry. They didn't play. That happens, and Steve Kerr said he appreciates that fans pay good money to see players on the team. He said the players' health is a number 1 factor in our team's success and even our fans' satisfaction in the long run. But this is what really caught my eye. He added that while some of these absences are unpredictable, sometimes you don't know when a guy's going to be out. He said, it would be wise, end quote. Quote, it would be wise, end quote, for fans to study schedules of teams they want to see and manage expectations when those teams are playing on consecutive nights at the end of a trip.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I understand.
Exactly. No, exactly.
True,
no,
but really? He's fans before you spend your money. I got enough to do. I got to check the schedule?
Yes, you do. For your own sake. Let the buyer beware. When you know that this is the deal, and this has been the deal for 10 years now, you absolutely should check the schedule. Unless somebody gives you tickets day of game, just say, here, I can't use them. Why don't you take them? If you're just going on a lark, fine. But you weren't expecting anything anyway. But if you're looking at this and you're planning, I'm going to buy tickets for that game in 2 weeks, Yes, you need to look at both team schedules before. Just because you're the customer and the customer has to be forewarned of what could happen.
He's trying to do right, and I understand. He's saying, "Look, it's in your best interest to check these things," and he feels badly. But it's too bad. It's unfortunate, I should say, that it's gotten to the point where fans, you got to check the schedule because, as you know, there's still some fans who think, well, they got a game, so they're going to play, right? No, that's just not the way it is anymore.
But it hasn't been that way for a decade. That's the point.
But some feel like it still should be.
Well, then some people are wrong. Let the buyer beware. I mean, more now than ever, because the price for a ticket is usually fairly astronomical. And if you're going to lay out that money, you'd better do your research.
What if I'm a season ticket holder? And I can't I don't want the games where guys are going to be load managed from the other team.
Give the tickets to your neighbor.
I still have to buy them. It's not Seeker's
that's
fault,
why season
but
tickets.
There's just an injustice to it.
That's why season tickets are a fraud in that way. I mean, if you're buying season tickets to see the Indiana Pacers,
I haven't had season tickets in a long time.
No, but I'm saying if you're that guy, you live in Broad Ripple, Indiana, and you buy season tickets to the Indiana Pacers, you deserve what you get. And it's not like they're going to take you into account when they decide to load manage, Benedict Mathurin.
We need dynamic pricing for these games.
Well, but you can't.
But then some people are going to buy them ahead of time.
And then you got people angry for another reason. The answer? Stay home. Watch it on TV. Have the mute button. The beer doesn't cost $20. And you get to go to bed immediately. You don't have to fight traffic. It's a much better deal.
Which game are you focusing on tonight when you get home? Turn on the tube. You're settling back, having your popcorn and watching?
Probably none of them.
I had a feeling.
I might watch a little bit of Cavs Kings just because I like watching the Cavs.
Yeah.
But that's probably it.
That's good enough.
I was looking up a minute ago.
Yeah.
And Nets Knicks. It was awful.
I'll text you at halftime of that Kings game.
I'll be around. I won't answer back, but I'll be around for it.
What's coming up next on the game is brought to you by Fremont Bank. Warriors Roundtable with Kevin Dana and Gary St. Jean, the great Saint. Stay tuned to 95.7 The Game. Kevin and the Saintly One bring you a full hour of Warriors talk. Coming up next, again, it's Warriors Roundtable next on 95.7 The Game.